Hey guys, welcome to another episode of 234 Essential. My name remains Ayomide Tayo, AOT2.
And I am Ugochi, the Igbo stallion.
Yes, and thank you for listening to our last episode. I can never recall the name of the last episode. Well, thank you for listening to it. And if you're a first time listener, welcome on board. 234 Essential is that podcast that helps you break down the Nigerian experience and helps you navigate life in this great country of ours. Great can mean whatever it means to you. I know great. To me it's irony. It's comedy, it's laughable.
Great.
What he takes it very seriously.
Yes, great.
That's our business.
Yeah, great, guys.
All right. If you want to send us fan mail or release therapy, which is a section where you talk about issues in your love life or sex life, as it may.
Love it.
Please send it to us at fanmail at 234essential.com.
And follow us on every social media platform you can find yourself and anybody on at 234 Essential Podcast. It's very important, guys.
Yes. And today, we're not going to have like the usual, let's talk about Nigeria, tweet of the week, prop, flop, shout about Nigeria from beginning to the end, complain about Tinubu, complain about Sanwo-Olu's watch, complain about the state of roads, Obaseki tackling the federal government, Tinubu wanting to start a war that I'll run away from, hopefully. Yeah. So today we have like guests in the house, and Ugochi will do the honors and introduce our esteemed guests.
Yes. So today I'm going to muster up my best GenZ lingo. So in case I fall short, please feel free to correct me. Today is a 234 special on a very interesting generation that we currently are experiencing as people of this world. And because I feel personally that they have been misunderstood, and I feel that they are not also given the opportunity to sort of speak up or express themselves in safe spaces, if that makes any sense. We decided to have a Gen Z episode. You know, we're going to be talking to two Gen Zs on the Gen Z life, work culture, and balance. So, make welcome. Join me as I make welcome two of the finest Gen Zs that I know in this generation. Oh my God. Number one, of course, because women first, right? Toyo Elejo. Toyo Elejo is a storyteller more than anything. She's also really just a soft babe in general. And she has a very inquisitive mind, and also not the easiest person to bully. Actually, can't bully her. And also a listener of 234 Essential, also a family member of 234 Essential. And she, as our part of our resident Gen Z, she's on 234 today. Hi, Toyo.
Hi, you people. Hi, fans. Hi, furs. Hi, family. Hi, my toasters. Oh my God, I heard you all, so I'm back.
Like you never left.
Like I never left.
And you go nowhere.
And really. I go nowhere.
Love it. And next on our lineup is a very new face to 234, but he also listens to 234. He's very serious with his life. He's a serious Gen Z. Not that I'm saying serious is not serious. Serious, that's not what I'm saying. But you understand. I know you want to say something. You have all the time to say everything you want to say. Make welcome Uime. Uime is a software engineer and also a podcast host with and tantrums. Yeah. He's also a chess player, you guys. Just for the babes who are out there that say they want intellectual Gen Zs. Uime is an intellectual Gen Z because I don't know this
Gen Z babes say they're looking for intellectual person.
I don't know. I'm sure there are some in that generation. They can't all be looking for bad guys now.
So Madina.
Yeah. So Uime, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. Hi, everyone.
Hey, good abego. Well, today we're hoping to have a very wholesome conversation with Gen Zs. As I said previously, I feel that they are misunderstood a lot, or people do not give them the time of day. Oh, fuck. I remember one person. Sorry. Our resident in-house Gen Z, but you don't enter streets now, I'm being told. But regardless, shout out to Nana. Nana, how you doing? You will need to come and team up on one microphone eventually.
Yeah, I'm good.
Fine. Yeah. We're going to have a very wholesome conversation today. You guys feel free, talk about anything. I don't know. Where do we start from, guys? Where do we start from?
Start from the beginning now.
You guys, what does it mean to be? This is my first question, chat, to both of you. Whoever wants to go first, right? What does it mean currently to be in this generation and this time? Like, what does it mean to be alive right now? Do you want to talk about your ages first? No? Are you comfortable with that?
I don't mind. Yeah.
Okay. Tell us your age first.
Hello, everyone. I'm Uyime. I'm 23.
Okay.
As at the time of recording, anyway. And for me, to answer your question, what it means to be in this age and time, I think it's mostly about possibilities. Like, to boil it down to one word. Anything goes, everything goes, and something new is always coming up every day. Like, there's a lot of innovation going on. That's what it means. What it means to be Gen Z, though, I'm not so sure, because like I don't really, apart from just the fact that I was born during the timeline that was given, I don't think I have any other relation to the age bracket.
I feel like I didn't even see like the timeline for being called Gen Z. I corrected me to say it's the mid-90s.
Mid-90s to the early 2010s.
Okay, great. So you tell us, what does it feel like?
First things first, I'm 23. Sorry about that. Oh God. My aesthetics for this pod was supposed to be cool, calm, collected, soft.
Baddie.
And I don't want any intrusion from IO to not let me deliver. Please, so help me God.
What have I done already?
Men don't need to do anything. They just need to exist.
I love it.
Oh, shit.
Precisely, baby. Tell them.
What does it mean to be in this generation? I think that these are very interesting times. And I think that my generation is filled with very interesting people. We have a lot of audacity that doesn't really sit well with certain people, especially blockheads, because they don't like it. They like when you suppress your feelings. They like when you don't say anything. They like when you succumb to societal pressure and just do what everybody says you should do. I mean, I've been rebellious from birth too, like with my parents. I've always been the talker. So if my mother says, Tracy, do this, I'm like, why? My daddy says, why? Why do you want me to do this thing? No explanation, I don't do it. I'm rude, sorry, but no, I can't do it. And if I want to do something, I let you know that I'm going to do it, and I let you know why. I'm a very self-aware person, and I think that a lot of Gen Zs might be too. There are some, I don't know if they are, because I don't really roll with so many Gen Z people, to be very honest. I have a lot of friends who are older than me. I think that aside all my older friends, like maybe I'm just friends with 1 or 2 23-year-olds. We never really have anything to talk about, like 20-year-olds, 21. Never really interesting. But with older people, it's different. And you know, my relationship with older people has sort of like helped my life in different ways. So I would say that my generation is filled with interesting people, and we have audacity that doesn't really sit well with so many people, and that's why they are mad. But keep pressing them on their necks.
You want to have a go?
No, I don't interject. Though. When I want to interject, I'll let you know.
Okay. But like, so this, Nana, do you want to say anything? Feel free to interject at any time as well, right? You guys, truth. What is really going on? Let's talk about work. Gen Z work life, right? What's that about? How's that for you guys? Working in spaces where you have millennials. I think that I'm going to ask Ayo a question at the point as well, because he's a millennial.
Allegedly.
And he works with a lot of Gen Zs as well. Like, so, we'll give our view on that. I think actually that should be the first question. Ayo, what is it like being a millennial and then working with a Gen Z?
Working as a millennial, as in what sense? In regards to work?
Yeah, in regards to specifically work, because I feel like that's where we all meet in a sense.
Okay, yeah. So regards to work, obviously, I grew up in a household where my mother worked for a particular company for like over 2 decades. We don't see that happening anymore.
Yes.
After 2, 3 years, 4 years, people just move on. They don't care. And every time I tell my mom, I've changed the job, she said, but this is, this is a first of all she uses that term. an employment risk. The employers will see as an employment risk. I say, I know, but my salary keeps growing or going.
Exactly.
Yeah. So as a millennial working in the in corporate Nigeria, first of all, you see a lot of bullshit. You know, I don't even think that the bosses today are as toxic as the bosses that, and it's not like to do all that in our days thing. I think, you know, it has gotten better. I remember there's some things that I see people doing these days. I'm like, you're lucky, because back then they would have taken off your head. I know somebody who sent out an email and didn't put the other email addresses in BCC and they got fired. It wasn't his job.
Yeah.
This was a place that had no structure, right? You know, the first place I worked in after NYC, if they owe you 2 months salary, easy, fam. Nobody's going to say anything. You know, you will complain, no evidence. You know, yeah, and you just see it as, you know, it's not life, and you know, and you start hearing other people say, well, you need patience. You know, a guy is trying his best, and you're like, a guy is mad, because a guy just bought a new Benz, a new car, and I don't have my salary. Yeah. Then you begin to see other toxic things. You see really toxic things in the workspace. Yeah. Sexual harassment, favoritism, you know, them downplaying you and all that, and really affects your mental health. And I think we all got aware as millennials that work is not meant to be like this. And that's why some of us, when we now got into positions of being employees, we didn't play that card. Yeah. Like, I remember when we were in Pulse, if you ask almost anybody that was in Pulse, when Osage was editor-in-chief, or I was on a higher position, when we worked with people, we didn't do all that, those mind games, those toxic shit. You just do your work. I'm not saying everybody as a millennial is like that, because I've heard of other millennials who are, I'm like, bro, but you learned under this person, you should be able to do better. Yeah, so when it comes to working with Gen Z, first of all, it's interesting. You know, I remember when I was in Pulse, and this is when this song came out, the one with DJ Khaled and the DJ Khaled song and Rihanna. What's that song? Wild Thoughts.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So that song was popular. Then one day we were listening to music, and the original now came. They played the Carlos Santana version, and the girl was like, "Sorry, is it the remix or is it the
I love it
original?" I'm like, "Shit." That's when I knew that I'm talking to. It's the same thing. That song is the same thing. Apart from the lyrics, it's the same beat. And that's when you begin to understand that, okay, you have passed that stage of you being the young person. There's another generation involved right now, and they do things differently. Yeah. You can't say, oh, today we're working after work, you know, stand by. You know they work. You know they work. They take rest very as high priority. Listen. And before we take rest, maybe I don't read. I'm like, but we need to go. But now, sorry, my mental health. You see, actually see emails. My mental health is in shatters today. I'm not coming to work.
I love it.
And you can't do anything because the HR, they support that. And you just have to now start understanding, Gen Zs and everything, their culture towards work, fun, relationships, even drugs at the end of the day. I work in entertainment, so you know it's a very liberal space. Yeah. And I give somebody a brief, and you know that what is entering that person's head is nothing. Because his pupils as dilated as fuck. Gone. And you'll be like, okay, you know, and you know, that's it. And even their thoughts about sexuality, and you know, when you start, you're just talking about sex, and they're talking about how sexuality is a spectrum. And I'll be like, sorry, spectrum is in physics. So I don't know what you people are talking about, you know, and just maybe there are controversial issues that are on Twitter, and you say, no, they are just saying, no, this is wrong. And it looks as if two of you are speaking a different language. The two sets, millennials and Gen Zs, are speaking a different language. So, but I think is everybody just knowing how to adapt to everybody. Yeah. I don't actually believe that Gen Zs take the piss take. I just believe lazy people do. Because we have millennials too that don't own up to their shit.
Oh, it's not a lie.
Yeah. So, and it's also you also having patience that when you're at that person's age, you didn't know everything you know now, and you have to put them through. Yeah. And everything. And you also have to understand where they are coming from, the way they were brought up, the way they see the world. The world has changed right now.
Tools are different.
Yeah. You can't shout to somebody in the office workspace anymore. That's toxic.
What?
For us, that was just Friday afternoon. That was like, a guy is just, you know.
He's in his feelings.
He's in his feelings. He's just feeling bad. Now you shout at somebody. HR says, excuse me, please, can I see you?
I love it.
Yeah. And that's serious. And you now know that you cannot do this kind of thing anymore.
Time to talk.
Yeah, so when you hear, is this a good God? I will miss.
God, I beg.
What is it again? You
What's
know?
to collect dressing?
And they always want their opinions heard. Even
I love that.
like you must always respect other people's opinion. So it's been fun actually. Yeah. Also in terms of dressing, even though I said I work in a liberal space. Some guys who are Gen Z working as if they don't have a home. And I'm like, I get that you want to be fashionable, but
This is rag.
You agree?
yes.
Or not?
Then some of the babes will not come here like, you know, and you just have to talk to them face level. Because you can't, if you look down, you're getting HR this thing.
done.
You're done. Your career is over. They're judging your Twitter. So don't maintain. Do you understand what I'm saying? Thank you. Bye. Yes, and you just go in peace because it's a different world we live in.
Love it.
Yeah, so it's been interesting.
It's a different world. That's a whole series. That's a TV series. But you guys, what do you have to say spilling off from what AOT just talked about and the conversation on the table? Work, Gen Z work, life, culture. What is that?
You know, there was a part where AOT2 was talking about living
health.
not even the mental health part. Before the mental health part, he was talking about how he would change jobs and then his mom would talk about job security. And it just reminded me of the time that I was considering leaving my job. And I had actually already decided, and I wasn't going to tell my mother until I had done it, right? But when I finally told her, because for some reason you could just be really like having this emotional discussion with your mom and you just feel like telling her everything that is happening in your life.
In moments of weakness.
In that moment. And that's a very weak point. I just try to make sure that anything I tell her does not involve romance so that it doesn't get her hopes up or anything. So just telling her that, Mommy, see, I want to leave my job. And my anxiety levels are high. I'm stressed. I'm tired. I just need a break. You know, she first did... She left the room, you know, she said, okay. Then she came back the next day in the night. You know, that's when they like to have conversations in the middle of the night.
When you're sleep
Do you
reading.
understand?
When you're weak.
Are you awake?
When your body is weak.
So are you awake? No, I'm sleeping. Go away.
I know one thing about my mother is that, and I love this about my parents,
Yeah.
even though it has taken a while, but they have grown, even in the ways that they communicate with me. So my mother would say, I say, my mommy, what's up? Then, you know, she's there standing. You want to talk? I know, right? She say yes. Then she'll sit there. I say, you know, this is your job that you say that you want to resign and they don't want your salary. Your salary comes on time. You even see that you have health insurance. You don't have kidney. You don't need to buy laptop. I say, Mommy, but do you want me to die there? Do you want me to die there? Like, I'm not interested in this job anymore. Yes, the salary is okay, fair, but that's not what I'm supposed to now, like, make my life all about them. Like, what about me? I'm not certain about next steps yet, but I just need that time off. So I'm going to take it. And when it was time for me to do that, I did it. And regrets, none. Because I always believe that life would eventually sort itself out. I think that that's something that a lot of Gen Zs do, including me. And I think that shouldn't even be restricted to Gen Zs, but you should really like prioritize your mental health because at the end of the day, you're working for people who do not really care about you. So take time off. I took close to 3 weeks off this year, and even that was even like before August. And I made sure that I was always using my time off. I was not going to wait to the end of the year. There's no best in not using your paydays off. So that's what I think about, you know, AOT2's Kenny.
How does it feel working with millennials?
So I
Love the pause.
I think that I have worked in different spaces, and I can tell you that the problem is not with millennials. The problem is with people who are not, first of all, securing themselves, people who aren't emotionally aware and shouldn't be managers, people who, they don't just even have sense. They don't know how to manage their emotions. They don't know how to manage relationships. People who don't know what they are doing. If you don't know what you're doing, you can't tell another person what to do. And so they never really like have a structure for what they want you to do. They just like do it. Okay, where's the roadmap? Nothing. But go and figure it out. And this is something that I think that they also had to deal with them Gen X people, where nobody tells them or nobody gives them anything to work with and just figure it out. But no, we don't want to figure it out. That's why you're managing me. That's why you're my boss. So you're going to have to walk me through. But at the same time, I've also come across people who I know that, oh my God, they have been so amazing to work with. And you see that all of those traits that I listed earlier on, they have it, well, like in a positive way. They're emotionally secure. They're aware. They trash things out immediately. They don't, there are some people that will just be keeping malice with. And like, why are you keeping malice with your work?
Listen,
with your colleague? Why are you doing that? And I'm very upfront. I like when people tell me things immediately. Like when I fuck up, if you need time to think about it a bit, just communicate that, so that I would know that, oh, okay, I've messed up. And then when you're coming to now tell me about it, don't call me stupid. Don't tell me that I don't have sense. Don't be a bastard. Just come and tell me, okay, this is what you have done to me. And this is why I think that it affected me, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter if my intention wasn't to hurt you. I'm going to apologize for it and just let you know that, see, this is where I was coming from. It's not fights. At the end of the day, it is us against the issue. It's not us against us. Like, I don't know you from anywhere and I don't care about you. So let's just move on.
Love it.
Yeah, that's how I feel about working with millennials.
Big purr. Can you hear my Gen Z stuff? Hey, purr. You may tell us, what does it work with your 4 clover necklace? Good luck.
It's a 4 clover leaf. So I just want to allude to something that they've both said, which is the jumping from job to job. I once attended like a conference thing, and they said software engineers, they specifically mentioned us that we don't stay for more than 6 months in a company. And I looked at my resume and I was like, oh shit, I must be like a non-software engineer kind of thing. Because not to provide like an opposite to what they've said, but I think it's true. So how I'm going to answer this question is like in 3 different points, and I'll try to point out when I've switched. The first one is like what typical Gen Z work is. And you start to notice, because of like, especially from points like COVID, and it's less of hands-on and more of, virtual stuff. So you have designers, engineers, managers, like different things, but it's less of how it used to be. And I think that's one of the problems. So for us, and it's shifted from that to content creation. And this is like a good example, but I have a bunch of people who I would say I'm friends with. I think I also am not friends with a lot of Gen Z. I'm friends with more older people, and like she said, it definitely stands to help you.
40-year-old man.
It definitely stands to help you a lot. But I see that the work that we have and we are pushing toward is different from what they had.
Yes.
So for instance, you come into the office and let's say we're about to brainstorm how we're going to sell a product or this and that. How people that came before us would do that is different from how we would do it. We are thinking, okay, as much as everything else, how are we going to get this to look good for the gram?
Exactly.
And they are just thinking, I just want the money to get into my pockets, Whether you put it on X is a whole different ballgame. So that's the first thing, what our work is as compared to what their work is. The second one is working with millennials. Funny enough, I've even worked with Gen X because I started software engineering as far back as 2015.
Mad.
And I got my first job like a couple years after that. Funny enough, it was an Indian company. And I have to tell you, those guys had to be Gen X. Like, maybe they were millennials, but not to shade any Indians, but Indians have a really thick slave mentality. As far as software engineering is concerned, I would work hours. We're talking 11, 12 hours. And this was remote. So stay till 11 p.m. and still get buzzed after that.
Crazy.
The workload was insane.
I can imagine.
And I think that was I remember how I quit. How I quit was, so I have a duty thing where I say I don't want to make a bad name for software engineers. I wouldn't like to collect money and dip. That's the thing people do. Like, they collect your money and you can't contact them anymore.
The language.
So I'm like, I would never make a bad name for software engineers. But I remember one time they started texting a lot, and I was just like, you know what?
You people.
I'm done.
Can't shower. Hands out.
I'm done.
You
like
told them they were messing with your mental health.
No.
Okay.
So that's funny enough. I've actually never used that kind of
You
don't have mental health.
I feel like it's been fried over years with my experiences. But the third thing is, the kind of jobs we pick that are not Gen Z related, because you still have people in our age bracket that are picking jobs that are not content creation or something like that. You still have maybe doctors or engineers, and even these days it's getting, would I say, a little bit easier to get that thing really fast and while you're at your age. So just to combine it to the second point, for me, working with millennials has been, just like I said, it has been interesting. Like,
Okay.
I have the dynamic where I'm able to flow with them, but you can also tell when someone is just all out to get you, and it's not about the age bracket. They're just there, like, it's you and me, and there's nothing you can do. And I've noticed it's a thing of ego, because it happens with people in our generation as well. But you can start to see more, because they have more reasons to do it that way. They're like, first of all, bad as it's bad, I'm older than you.
Do you understand?
Like, no matter what your say is, I'm older than you. That's the baseline. And for that, you owe me some form of regard.
Respect.
And I'm just like... and I'm just like, yeah, that's fine. There's a word she used at the beginning, which I like, which is blockheads. There has to be a sort of fluidity. Like, okay, I know that you have a certain predisposition in terms of how good your talent is to this thing, but I have more years of experience. So what we're going to do is we're gonna like kind of sync that across. I'll give you mine, you give me yours.
That's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Okay.
But some people are just like, but I have years of experience.
Yeah.
You can do it, too, but do you understand?
Yeah.
So yeah, for me, that's what Gen Z work is. It's always about finding like middle ground. But one thing I've noticed is it's not always about it's Gen Z versus millennials. It's just some people are just not.
Yeah.
They're just not.
Yeah.
They're just not it.
I want Nana to answer this question because Nana works with Gen Zs and he's also a Gen Z. But like
allegedly. I didn't want to say what I like with Gen Zs.
And also exactly because you spoke about working.
Yeah.
So I sort of want Nana to talk about what it feels like working as a Gen Z, working with Gen Z. Tell me about that. And also working with millennials too. Because you're real guy.
Well, first off, I work with a perfectionist, right?
Yeah.
Who likes his T's crossed and his I's dotted.
Yeah.
I mean, at first, there's something Toyosi said that I want to like press on. She said something like, your boss will tell you should figure it out, and you're like, why can't you just tell me this thing? But I mean, when you come to think of it, if they keep telling you how to do it, you won't end up being able to do it in their absence, right? So now it's a lot of pressure in the sense that they see things through their lenses, right? So if they want you to do A, B, C, D, and then you can actually do A, B, C, D, but you can do it with A, B, then 1, 2, 3 before C, D, and at the end of the day, you get the same result, but like, no. A, B, C, D is A, B, C, D. If you have a shortcut, I don't care. Just do it like this. So they see things, I feel they are not like, they are still adapting to how things are being done now, right? Compared to how they were doing previously. I mean, you are sending me, you're texting me by like 3 a.m. and when I wake up and reply by 8 a.m., I feel bad already. Like, why am I not responding immediately? You are texting. Like they want things done like as they are saying it, guys, they deliver, you know. So and then at the end of the day, you just have to realize that, irrespective of the fact that they are being hard and everything, but there are some people that actually like just want you to be a better version of yourself, right? So they're like, person I work with right now is like, at first I was like, why is this guy just like this now? How about give me a break? Let me just breathe. See, giving me crazy stuff. I'm like, what if they tell you that all this? Wait till they tell you that I'll start with this now. Yeah, start. But then at the end of the day, you realize that it's actually for your own good, right? Like you learn more, and then when something is up and they are not able to be on ground, you can actually like fill in the gap without any issues. So I've not really had any experience working with shitty bosses and everything. I mean, I work with a married woman who is always don't want to just get on for body. But I mean,
how do you like working with GenZs as well? Co-GenZs.
Guy, the worst people to work with, I'm sorry, but they are ladies. Like they know the year correction. Like I hate working with ladies because they know the
So do you mean? Sorry, do you mean?
I can't work with ladies.
Sorry, do you mean ladies in the entertainment space?
I mean ladies in general, basically. I can't work with Toyosi.
I have a couple of things to say, and I'm just waiting for you to finish.
I can't work with Toyosi.
You don't even know me.
You kill herself.
You don't even know me.
I mean, the way you think is actually different. Like you might be.
No, but like he says women.
I mean, you asked in the Gen Z space and all, yeah. I personally, I can't work with Toyosi.
And I don't even know you. I don't know you. We've never worked together.
Can you see? You don't know me. Toyosi is already giving me that vibe. Toyosi is already giving me that vibe. I beg, no stress me. Like, yo, guy, like, I just feel like we don't need to have a relationship, right? But we have stuff to do. Just deliver your shit. Let me deliver. So if your P is affecting mine, we go get issue. You understand? Like, if you need to submit a file and I need to review it. So if you don't submit your file, how will I review it? And then it's affecting me. I'm delivering late and I'm delivering late because you are delivering late. So if your incompetence is affecting me directly, you will get issue. And then I come and meet you and you're like giving me this one, that one. There was one lady that was telling me I'm mental health, her boyfriend, but I'm like, yo, what's concerned with your boyfriend? Like, we are working here, just give me my family at the bounce. Why are you telling me your boyfriend? My boyfriend and I had issues last night. That's
so
why.
Nana, I think your issues first of all, right? I've heard what you said, the 2 points, right? I think it has to do with experience too. Like if you've been in the labor force for a long time, or in the workforce for a long time. The first point you said was about they telling you to do it without giving you any guidance. Yeah. That person that did that to you, obviously that's how he was raised too.
Yeah.
Like I said, my first job, there's nothing like job description. They'll tell you to use correct draw. I'm not a graphic designer, I'm a writer.
You're going to do research.
I will do correct draw, you do other things that are not involved. Why? Because that's how they too were, you know. Yeah. And it's called what they call throw them into the sharks. If you drown, you drown. If you swim, you swim. Yeah. But it doesn't work well. Right? I've learned that it doesn't work well long term. So in an organized setting, when somebody comes, this is what you're doing. A, B, C, D. Yes. Don't overdo anything. Yes. This is your job. This job I'm telling you to do is 100%. And I'll show you the way to do it. Right? But that person you learn from, maybe that is how he was raised. And he believes that, okay, this I must continue.
No, basically, it's not like I have an issue with that. At first, I saw it like, why this guy was the... I don't do it. I won't do it.
I still do with people like that.
I saw it that way, but at the end of the day, I came to realize that there are some things that I do now that I couldn't do before, and it's based off the fact that he threw me into the sharks, like you said. I'm like,
but
okay,
it doesn't work in this company.
This guy again, waiting he.
So see, I've worked with like different bosses that have helped me or taught me how to do things in different ways. And I can tell you for a fact that the one who puts me through has had such a long-term effect on me and the way that I do things. So now let's say that I'm an intern, right? And it's a different thing if you want to test what I can do, all right? And you give me an assignment and you say, Toyosi, do this. Then based on what I have done, you cannot wait. Let me finish. Then you can now say that based on what I have done, which should have been completed during like my interview phase or like my test phase, you cannot say, okay, this is this babe's ability. Like these are things that she can do, right? And these are things that I want to help her improve on. If I do not know how to grow a social media page, for example, or grow an email marketing list, because I haven't done that before. Yes, I've read about it. Yes, I'm junior staff. But I haven't done it before actively. I've never been fully in charge of it before. But you're the one with all of the experience, right? You're the one with all of the talent. You know how to do it. And then I'm coming, you ask for my ideas. And this is where like communication and good relationship comes in, right? Because you know that a part of your job as a manager is to teach. I was having an interview with somebody for this story that I was writing one time that was featured on Tech Cabal, by the way. And there's this sorry, there was this babe Onyechi, and she was telling me that all of the managers that she has worked with, they have taught her that it makes no sense to throw people into the wild without no outline, with no roadmap. That's not the best way to learn. In fact, that's what we all complain about in uni. That's what they do. Like when I was in uni, we go sit down in the lecture hall, you do this one, you do that. When you come out of school, it's different, right? The way that they teach us is not the way they teach other people in like certain places, right? So that's not the ideal way to learn, because then what's not the point of working in this company to get that experience when you're asking me to do the things that I've told you before that I cannot do, instead of holding my hand. So the person that was telling you held my hand and, you know, helped me to function better was the one who said, you know what, Toyosi, what can you do? She gave me a test. I have done this test, right? And now we're working together. So we want to develop a story. It starts with like, okay, so what do we want to do with this story? We talk, we have conversations about it. Okay, this is what I think. And she also tells me this is what I think, and then we put it together, right? Then it moves to, okay, what kind of people do we want to interview? I think that, nice point, but I think that if we do it this way, so that way I'm learning by working with you. And we did that for like multiple stories. And at some point, she told me, TRC, I want you to take full ownership of this. Ask me questions whenever you need to, but take full ownership. But because she had walked me through certain periods or certain phases, I knew how to handle larger data. I knew how to work with even like the interns that she brought on board to work with me to develop stories, because I also wanted them to experience the relationship that I had experienced with her, which was toxic free. In fact, it made me eager to learn, because I knew that she would not chew my ears off because I did not do one thing, or she would not scare me away with her words or all of those things. But that's the ideal way to learn. But you know, all of this, a lot of millennials, they've also suffered, right? They've also suffered, and they think that that's the ideal way to groom other people. But it's not, because in the long run, it burns you out. It puts you under unnecessary pressure. It induces your anxiety. Your mental health is shit, and your life is just depressed. And that's not the way to live life at all. So that's why I say that if you're going to teach somebody, teach somebody.
Wait, hold on. Before you, so I want to just jump on. You know, the fish addressing.
I love it.
So this thing about you just them sending you to the sharks to go and drown or swim, it's not very smart. Because even to today, if you tell me, oh, AOT2, can you do something? In my mind, I'm like, yes, I can do it. Because I don't want to say no. Then you're going to take on a job and you're learning on this thing. Yes, eventually to look like benefit, but that it doesn't really make sense. You can't handle everything. You need to be like expert at something, and some other things say, no, I can't just do this. Secondly, as far as the female stuff you're talking about, is just understanding people, basically. Even to today, that's why I want to say this, I hate working with people. Yeah, yes, until Ugochi started disturbing my life, and you know. Because I always believe that people will fuck you up. Mm-hmm. I'll give you a recent example. There was an event we were doing, right? That I was the stage manager for. And we now decided, there was a bright idea, which was not bad, division of labor, that for each artist or for a group of artists, this person handles them, this person handles that group of artists. So in terms of, getting their songs across for performance, so that you won't be disturbing DJ on stage for performance and everything. Okay, I now said, Madam, please, I'm funny enough, it was a woman. I said, please, this artist has not sent his song. Please, can you go and make sure that they send the song? It didn't happen.
Did you call the person Madam?
I said, Madam, yes. This person did not get the songs from the artist, right? Till the moment that person was about to get on stage and there was no song. And that was a huge fuck up. Now, because I'm experienced, I took the L gladly. But since then, if like whether she's in charge or not in charge, I'll go and meet the artist, please, I need your song now. You have to know everybody's way. There's some jobs you send some people, there's some jobs you don't send some people. Or the way you give out briefs. You know, when I was an editor in Pulse, right? I knew the writers that I could tell, please write an 800-word article. This is just the topic, right? And they'll go and do it. There are some writers you write down the bullet points one by one for them, right? And when they come back, you are still the one that's going to edit it and rearrange. You just have to know how to deal with different people at the end of the day.
Okay, so basically what I meant by saying that, oh, I don't like working with women or ladies, basically is that in some cases, these ladies let their emotions get the best of them, right? I mean, they don't accept correction. Next thing is, oh, why are you telling me you don't do the why? I'm like, yo. Okay, now let me put in context here. I work as a recording engineer, and you as a lady, you're coming to record, and you are doing stuff, and I'm like, yo, can you like put your mouth closer to the mic? Can you like do this? Can you do it? Like, oh, please. I'm like, how about now? Let's just do this pizza. Let's do this pizza and bounce.
No, I have sisters.
Yeah, dude.
Let me interject, right? If you work in a place where there's utmost professionalism, all that shit not gonna happen, because everybody's bringing his A game. That's what is happening. Trust me, if you are recording Beyonce, and you tell, oh, Beyonce, I think you just put your lips closer to the mic. She will. You know, and also there's a way you have to study people. There's some people who can, you can just tell them, oh, please, can you get closer to the mic? And they'll do that. There's some people that just, excuse me, I didn't position the mic well. Now you go carry on yourself. Bro, I've dealt with different, even men. There's some guys that you cannot even tell, are you mad? Are you crazy? You're like,
Big 7.
Like
Shout
Burna
out.
Boy.
so if you are recording Burna Boy now, you not say Burna Boy. You say, oh, sorry, your guy. Now people, hey!
Don't be annoyed.
Wash my face.
So that's what experience is all about. It's not basically this thing at the end of the day. Look, even the issue of, oh, my boyfriend, there are guys who come to work and they are drunk. Why? Their girlfriend, they work on their girlfriend and they'll be like,
She said no.
But come on.
She said no.
there are guys, look, I've worked with guys under me that they have relationship. Some they are dating in the office and the guy cannot concentrate and you need a deadline. What do you do?
My first
what
boss
do you
used
do?
to always
Fire
tell me
one
about
about
their
it.
girlfriend.
No, it depends. Like I said, it depends on the personality. There's some people that you tell, oh God, please, I need this thing now. And there's other people that you go and take them out and say, look, understand they are dating this babe. Sorry, we know that you are dating. Well, we know you are dating this babe, but you have deliverables. You still have a job. You know, that's like everybody. You can't have a one fit, like one size, everything for everybody. It's not going to work.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I heard what you said, but then I just feel there are some
Don't worry.
pocket holes.
Don't worry, you go continue. You go continue.
I want to tell you something. I first of all don't want you to think that this is an attack or anything, right?
No.
We're going to, this conversation is very holistic. I want it to be very 360. When I say something, say it, because I think I'm going to pick up from
so
everybody.
there's something that Ayo has said, which is a baseline for the two arguments we're having, which is you have to know the kind of person you're working with.
Yes.
The first argument, in fact, let me start with a higher priority because what you said about the ladies thing, I don't agree. But I understand what you are saying. I've been in that situation before. But like I said, the answer is you have to know the kind of person you're working with because their guys will also mess up. There was a point in my life I said, I will never work with female software engineers again because of 2 bad experiences back to back. But as time passed on, I was like, oh no, it's not a female thing. It seems like just generally some people tend to, different approaches. Emotional intelligence is quite appropriate. Like it's big on the part of the person who is working as Gen Z and on the part of the millennial, because you have to know, like, which brings me to my second point, which is that you said, Toyosi, that the best method is not to throw people to the sharks in terms of how you want them to learn. Personally, my own experience is from the moment I have started any endeavor, I have always been in a situation where I've had to go out and figure it out for myself. There will be a roadmap. They'll be like, okay, a recent example is, hi, Uyime, we want an app in 4 weeks with a language I had never coded before.
Tell us the language.
Flutter. It's called Flutter. And I was like, what? I built apps before. I've never built an app in 4 weeks. It did not happen in 4 weeks anyway. But what I understood that happened, I used to work with this man in Abuja, tragically toxic, just the worst. He would every single morning would have a stand up, and what he did at the beginning was to reiterate his accomplishments over time. Do you know I've been doing this thing for 11 years? Do you know I finished school by this time? Do you know, every single day. Now, we were 4 engineers at the time, and consistently I was the only one attending for a long period of time. I would see him on the Slack channel texting everyone like, why are you not joining? But me, I was always there. Like I would be in my like night robe or whatever, still joining meetings. I got fired first. I got fired first. Pew, pew. Not just for any reason, but for insubordination.
Oh my God.
Because what happened was he was verbally abusive. And I would absorb all of that like a sponge because I was more focused on what I was supposed to be doing. But one day, I was like, boss, fuck you. That was it.
I love it.
And, it was like, okay, you can't speak to me that way. I think the wherewithal to understand, if you throw me to the sharks, you'll be surprised. There's something I always tell people I work with. You can't catch me off guard.
Oh, shit.
If you throw me to the sharks and you come back a week later and you're like, let me see if you did that thing. It's not possible.
You have an arc.
But I understand that at the same time, it's not also the most ideal thing. I wouldn't say there's one specific method. It's just, look, I start like you said, you check my capabilities, you see what I can do, and you're like, okay, I think this person learns this kind of way. Let's do this for this person. It's best for them. But you also said these people you work with don't care about you as much. So I wouldn't find it offensive if someone did not put me in the best situation to learn. It's not up to me.
How long have you been working software engineer? As a software engineer?
No, not since 2015, since like 2017.
Okay. Exactly. 2017, 2023, that's 6 years. 6 years as a software engineer.
Yeah.
It's going to be different from somebody who's in marketing for 1 year. Like I'm saying how you treat.
Your trajectory.
Okay. So now when your boss was telling you to build an app, right, in 4 weeks, the experience, the number of years you have spent, he was not even speaking to your manager, he was speaking to you directly. So there's already like something there. But if I am being managed by somebody, let's say I was being managed by you, right?
Yeah.
And your boss has said, we need to build so and so. Now that pressure is on you, it's not on me.
Okay.
Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm saying that if you're managing somebody that is either new, entry level, junior staff, they're just getting started, right?
Okay.
They know some things, but they don't know everything. I don't have 6 years experience. If you have an intern, right, or an entry level person with just a year experience working with you, you can't be throwing them the same things that you're having to deal with from top level management. You can't be throwing it to them. You can't be telling them to create a growth map strategy for you to do whatever. Do you understand what I'm saying? You can't just throw them and say, hey, go and do this, because that's your job as a manager. You're supposed to create that, and then you now divide it into things that they can do, and you help them go through that. So that's my point.
You guys, I've waited specially for this moment. As you can see,
I want to thank my fans.
literally for waiting for me, because I have really heard and learned so much from this conversation. But like, I'm going to attack this conversation sort of in a closing about working with Gen Zs, because there's so many other parts to your life aside work, right? I'm going to tackle it from the elephant in the room that nobody's talking about. Really, we're talking about management.
Yeah.
Okay, your phone is open. Fantastic. I feel that work in general is experienced by whoever it is from how they are being managed. So if you're not managed correctly, if you're managed poorly, you would perform many times poorly, right? Yeah. I'm not saying it's a rule of thumb. I'm not saying it's hard and fast. I'm saying that if you're not being managed, there's a saying that goes, if people leave bad managers, not their jobs, they leave bad managers, right? People quit many times, statistically proven that people leave jobs because of bad management, right? Yeah. Now, management might not be just your line manager, right? I had to open Google to see the different types of managers there are, right? And then I'll speak based off of that, because part of the things that I'm also struggling with in my consulting is that people do not know how to structure their businesses. But we'll get into that. So according to Google, there are 4, and I agree, there are 4 types of managers. So there are top level managers. So those will have like your CEOs, your directors, right? There are middle managers. They are more now from the CEO and all of that. They're like group heads. They're like unit heads, right? And then there are first line managers, right? They particularly handle certain units, right? And then there are team leads. Team leads is what we hear about a lot today in this our new generation that we're experiencing. I'm going to talk about this from two perspectives in terms of management. We have the corporate world, and today fast what we're seeing is that we have more flexible workspaces, whether it's in entertainment, whether it's in PR, whether it's in marketing, whatever it is. We have very targeted group. We have a lot of small businesses in Nigeria, small, medium scale businesses, to be honest, a lot of them. And so we have more people going towards these areas. Now, what I find is that when you work with structured organizations, because the business is structured, I've said this on 2, 3, 4 before, when a business is structured, the structure of the business naturally selects who is good for the business, right? They have tests before you enter. If you don't meet that test, already, number one, you're not getting the job, right? If you don't have a first class when your CV is submitted, they already drop you.
Cancel.
Do you understand? The system is created to reduce the stress of admitting wrong staff.
Yeah.
That is what the system is created for, right? I've never worked in the corporate world, so I cannot talk about it in total, but I will tell based off of my experiences with people who work with structured companies, right? You have departments, you have teams, everybody knows what they are meant to do at each level. Now, I'll talk about what we're used to now, what we're seeing more of these days. We're seeing individuals who have gone to start businesses, more like that, or a group of people who have come together to say, you know what, I've identified a unique problem and I want to solve it, right? And they go ahead and start a business, forgetting that when you want to start a business, it's a 360 view. Just because you have identified a problem in something you were doing before does not negate the importance of other parts of the business. I don't know if I'm making any sense, right? So, for instance, you're a software engineer now. Just because you're a software engineer doesn't mean you're going to sell the product you're going to make, right? So you need people to sell. You need people to market. You need to now find the demography of people. But you cannot do that on your own. Do you understand? But you can create the solution. You know what the solution is. But the solution has many parts. That is where our businesses now lack structure. Business structure in Nigeria is at an all-time high, 0. We have very poor structure. CEO wants to do marketing manager, business development. Only CEO wants to account, wants to measure, wants to be customer success. Do you understand? Why are you a CEO, sir? Why is your name CEO when you do not know the ethics of the work you're supposed to do? Do you understand? And we also have now a lot of businesses as well that are now virtual, you know? So the CEO doubles as everything. Now they answer for Instagram. Now they post. Now they take pictures. Now they create the content. The CEO themselves are the brand ambassadors for their brand.
Y'all know that our president at some point was also like a minister too.
Exactly.
He was the minister of petroleum too.
Exactly. Do you
The
understand?
new one is a minister of petroleum.
Exactly. Taking the post, right? I'm not taking a piece at small businesses. I'm taking a piece now from I'm speaking to people who go into business without wanting to also learn what business is about. Because knowledge is what at the end of the day helps. You cannot give what you do not have. If I start up a business and I'm poor with people, right? I should stay away from that part of the business and employ or look for somebody to partner with who is very good with people, so that I'm saying, okay, I have this solution, somebody's also managing the emotions of those people, because they're not machines that are coming into your business to grow it. It's human beings. And so you need to learn how to manage people, whether you like it or not, right? Now, if you're a top level manager in your company, be it startup or small or medium scale business, find out what it is you are meant to do and stick to it. If you decide that you want to create a team of people because you are now burnt out from doing everything by yourself, allow the people that you have put in charge of those things to do their job. And hold them accountable based off of certain KPIs. The KPIs come over time, of course, because as the business too is growing, you're seeing the challenges and the ways that you're supposed to be working. But clarity is important. You need to communicate. What I find is that somebody from another department will just come and be telling another person in another department, don't you know that you're supposed to stay here till 7 p.m. because we're doing photo shoots downstairs. Why are you telling me to stay here? Are you my manager? Do you know what I'm supposed to be doing? And I hate that word supposed to be doing also in our work, because it now seems like, especially for small businesses, let's be very honest, when you work with a small business, you are the beast of burden. You wear too many hats. And if nobody has told you before, please, if you're in secondary school and you're listening to 234, my dear, if you work for small business, you will do social media management. You will still tell the story. It's you that will still capture the customer.
And
it's you
do design.
Exactly. You wear many hats and you need to be ready for that. But the truth is that at employment, a lot of people tell lies. A lot of business owners they're not clear with the objective. They're not clear with the direction, because also they do not know the direction.
Yeah.
And I advise, if anybody joined my live with the women's space, I advise business owners to have an idea of what everybody in their team is doing. It helps reduce the amount of fuckery that you deal with. That's the truth. If somebody's telling you, oh, I'm trying to map out a social media calendar to Auntie, why is it taking you 1 year to do social media calendar? Why is it taking you that long? How about do it daily? Maybe it will help you. Or find tools to help the person. Or try to, sort of do your own research as well. I understand that it's a crazy time in Nigeria. There's so much going on. You're losing money from, FX is jumping, skipping rope with us and stuff, right? Everybody's stressed. But then again, if you're not going to do the hard work, then you shouldn't be owning a business. Mm-hmm. And then for managers, which is what my crux of this conversation is for me, really, 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 really. I feel like there are different ways to manage. But the most important one first is know who you're managing. If you're not going to take out the time to understand the person you're managing and also understand yourself, because man, know thyself first from you. If you do not know yourself, to manage another person will be a Herculean task. You would mess that shit up in the blink of an eye, really. Because you do not also know yourself. I understand that you've gone through the hardship. I don't know, I think it's the black mentality thing, where black people feel like when they've attained a certain level of achievement, every other person must suffer to get to that level. You need to do the harder work. Just like I suffer, yourself must suffer.
Yeah.
Why do I have to suffer? The reason for enlightenment is to educate. If I'm enlightened and I cannot educate, I am daft. I'm a daft person. That's the truth. If I know, they say he that knows and says that he does not know is wise. He that knows and says that he knows, gets sense. But if you're saying every time at every small push, you just like, I've been 11. Do you know how many years I've worked? A person like that, bro. A person like that many times is also not doing the job. Because why is your age in question? The tools have changed. And every day we are learning. If we say life is a journey, it means we're learning every day. I'm saying before now, when would they talk cions? Now people are talking about dipping. I thought dipping was going into the pool. I thought dipping was putting chicken in a sauce.
Can you hear this old woman?
Do you get what I mean?
We GenZ, we know this.
See, but literally,
Gen-Z.
You get what I mean? But like the language is also changing, meaning that the people are also changing. And do you understand? And I tell people a lot that communication is about language. Mm-hmm. If I cannot speak your language, I'm not communicating with you. If you like, put your mouth like this, put your face like this, I must understand the language to be able to communicate. If my goal is to impact and also to learn, then I must do the hard work to also do that. Yeah. And let your subordinates teach you. It's not a thing of pride. The best thing you can ever get as a person is somebody who is better than you, that is under you. Because they will teach you for free without you even lifting a finger. And so learn that, but also learn how to manage relationships. Emotional intelligence, we've mentioned that, but it's not seeming like emotional intelligence is such a street word.
Or just a buzzword.
Yeah, it's just exactly. It's just something people say to look cool.
Cool, yeah. They don't know it.
See, for you again to be emotionally intelligent, you need to know yourself. If you have done the hard work previously in time past, and now you are giving the grace to manage somebody, please don't ruin their lives. And also, if you have never been led, please try as hard as possible not to lead immediately. Don't be so fast to want to lead. And I speak from experience when I say that. I've been managed by people who had never been led before. And I knew off the top of my head that I never wanted to be a manager like this. And it sort of informed the way that I manage people in general, right? I'm not saying I'm the best person, I dey fuck up. I'm not saying I'm the best person, I dey fuck up normally. But if you say you want to manage a person, management is not only now about the work you're meant to do, it's also managing the person. Because the person brings the results. As Toyosi rightly said, when top level management tells you do this as a manager, your job is the middleman's place, right? It'd be like say distributor from a company is it's between the manufacturer and the end user or the retailer. And because now you have hiked the price, you now say, you guys, now so I take CMO, they don't wicked for them. That's it. You know, your job as the manager is to not only manage the expectations of top management, but it's also ensure that you are managing your team enough to be able to achieve the results that top management wants to see. If not, you make top management look terrible, you look inefficient, and your subordinate is stressed. You see how it all waters down. Do you understand what I mean? Yeah. So like, we talk about emotion. Go and read, understand. Me if I they struggle, all of us with they go share see this shaggy that is happening in Nigeria. We're all going through it. And if you're going to say the other generation is lazy, is this, is that, what are you doing to make it better? If the Gen Zs are not being productive at your office, what are you doing to make it better? But if you're not going to do anything to make it better, then you have to keep mum. You shouldn't talk about it. Because if you're not going to effect change, then you're a problem. You are part of the problem. You are the office gossip, and I hate office gossips. That's the truth. The office gossip should always be sniffed out because they're the weakest link on the chain, and they should be cut off. Literally. So if you're not going to do the job of teaching a person, then leave them alone.
Don't hire interns. If you don't know what to do with them, please.
Exactly, you know. But Nana wanted to say something to reboot what I've just said because
okay, so in terms of, I want to ask you, Ugochi, in terms of what you said about managing people, like if you don't know how to manage someone, you don't need to etc. Yeah. So what happens where I have you, I'm trying to manage you, and you are not willing to learn? What happens? Like,
so let us say that you have a child. Have you lived with children? You're an elder brother now. See, Nana is really in his I'm alone phase. Right? Don't fuck with me.
Really like Afrobeats.
Yeah. See, let me tell you something. There are some people who are difficult to manage. In fact, there are a lot of people who are being. There are managers who are also difficult to manage. First thing. As a subordinate, you also manage your manager. This is the truth.
You have to tell me this.
Yeah, you manage your manager because your manager too is a person. As the way the person is trying to get to know you, you too try to get to know the person. There are some managers that give tough love. You can be doing great and just be like, oh, it's okay. Quickly go and write that other thing real quick, right? But when they go to top management meeting, I think that my staff is the best in this company. Ask anybody. I have the best team and they're doing the work. There are also managers who they will hail you and they will twat you at the back. They will tell management terrible things about you. Yeah. So as a subordinate, learn to manage your manager. You too, keep your eyes open. It's a relationship. Your job is a relationship, right? So if I'm going into a relationship with somebody, I know what I want to get from it as well. So manage your manager. The way they are trying to get to know you, you too try to get to know them, right? Next thing, you said what this question is targeted at what again, to be precise?
When somebody doesn't want to learn.
Secondly, there's only so much you can do with a person who also is not receptive for, and that's so many that could be hinged on many things. Right? It could be that the person doesn't just want to earn a buck. They don't want to really do the job. You should be able, as a manager, you should be able to, I think somebody asked me something similar, like, how do you know how to interview the right hands? Enthusiasm is one of the biggest things to grow with. A person who is enthusiastic, they might not know the work to do, but they just want to learn. Just like, please teach me. Or I want to know. Or I've read so much. Or they even do the background work before they even start talking to you. There's some people that before you interview them, they don't go read about your company. Be like, say, that them even start the company. Once you just say, what do you know about this company? I know that the people started in 2000. That's a good place to start, right? But you must also put in the work as a manager. Create a scheme. to grow the person both on the job and even discipline as a person. Remember when I sent you a message the other day and I said, "Oh, I'm going to talk about this." There's a word, that was a word I used, and you were like, "What does this one mean now?" Do you understand? I was like, "Oh, I need to read it verbatim." What I sent to you the other day, right? So there are lingos for workspaces. Nobody learns it in school. Did they teach you office lingo in school? Yeah, but when you start the job, they start to tell you things, right? Do you want to learn? If you don't want to learn, maybe the person should also explore the avenue of trying something different. But I tell people this: when you employ somebody, it takes 3 months for the person to settle in. It takes 6 months for the person to build a rhythm with the team. It takes 1 year to yield results at best. At best, if you're being very honest with yourself. I know some people say, "Oh, 1 year is such a long time. Oh, that the business is going to suffer." But let me tell you, for you to get into rhythm with a person, even if not marriage, you have to give it time. Patience is spiritual. Waiting is spiritual. You need to wait. And if you're not willing to learn or to teach, then there's no need. It's a misfit already. And from the first 1-2 months, you already kind of know that, oh, this person is not in the jig with me. But of course, everything is open to conversation. So what's going on? And that's why at the end, I always tell people, your stand-ups, as you call them now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. When you have meetings, you'll be like, "Oh, so you guys, we have this as a team." Or I find out a lot of managers also don't open themselves up to their team. They want to be the bad guys from start to finish.
Oh my
right?
God,
exactly.
Don't.
But if you don't tell the people you're working with what the truth is, who are you going to tell? And so they're concealing a lot of things. They're keeping, you see one manager will just come, "You guys, I don't know why our numbers are not up." Okay, what is the number right now? Where are we going to? Guy. Do you understand? So, okay, you say our numbers are not up. Yes, ma. But what is the number now? Exactly. They'll just be like, "It's not good. It's not encouraging. That's not good."
Increase the numbers.
So how are we going to increase the numbers when we don't even know what the number is now? Is the number 10? Okay, we need to get to 15. Okay, you guys, how are we going to get to 15? Be very clear in your communication. But some people just be keeping roadblock. They say, "Oh, the number is not up. Oh, you guys, we need to." You're not giving me anything to work with. Even me too, that I'm as a subordinate to them. Listen, the number is not up. We're going to get it up. CPR, maybe. How are we going to do it? How are we going to get it there?
What are we going to do?
Do you understand what I mean? You need so be open, and if you don't know, try to your team. There's always a way to look smart when you actually are stupid as a manager. Many ways. So that you guys, I have a plan. I have an idea, lies. I have an idea, but you guys, what are we going to do? How do we get from 10 to 15? You see everybody with brain. Plus, and from that interaction, you already sort of know who the guys in your team are already. Mm-hmm. Who is going to drive you? Who is going to get you to point A to point B? And that seems like favoritism, but are you pulling your weight?
It's helping you think too.
Do you understand? It's helping you think. It's also telling you what is happening in that person's head. But if you don't communicate, how will I know? Am I a mind reader? Am I telepathic? I will not know now. And if I don't say yourself, no one puts in effort, I get the power to say, "Get the fuck out of my company. Or my team. I want somebody else." Mm-hmm. Maybe you should go and find another team inside the company that you can work with. Maybe that's where your life is. Do you get what I mean? Yeah. And that's okay. You don't have to like me to work with me. That's another thing I need to understand. That I need people to understand. You don't need to like your person to work with them. Is the person delivering? Is the person doing what you need them to do? You're not getting in bed with them. Once business goes, everybody go home. Do you get what I mean?
You're gonna get it.
Some people, yes, build a relationship, very important. But also understand that there are levels to the relationship. Some people just be coming and be pouring themselves up at work. "My boyfriend broke my heart."
Oh, please.
That's why.
Boyfriend is always breaking hearts.
Do you understand? Oh, my mommy.
Y'all need to chill.
Do you get what I mean? I'll give you one experience, like working with Gen Zs, right? I had a Gen Z from another team who was going through hellfire, right, with their manager, right, of another team. Very similar. We had very similar roles. In fact, they were coexisting roles, right? So sales and marketing, for instance. And somebody on the marketing team is telling me, "Ugochi, my manager is killing me, blah, blah, blah." First of all, my job on that conversation is not to say, "That your manager, it doesn't have sense. So, I don't know, manage the person." "Oh, so what is the challenge? What's going on?" Person says, "You as a manager, go and have a tete-a-tete with a manager. Don't rubbish another manager in front of another manager. Also, don't rubbish your subordinates in front of another manager, because it also influences the way that manager will relate with that person in that moment moving forward. Just like you know, get sensitive, they shout for you, daddy. Come here, go and buy me bread. Do you understand what I mean? Because it'd be like saying that you know serious. Do you understand? Do you understand what I mean? But like there's a lot of business body language lingo that is going into extinction because we're also not doing the job of teaching ourselves.
Yeah.
I'm here. That's why I'm here, by the way, to teach, to train. You know, see, employ me for your business.
Exactly what I was saying. Like,
I love it. Advertisement.
we have gotten like a snippet of how good at consulting Ugochi is.
Listen,
like that was just like
roll.
20-30 minutes of
at least 100K worth.
do you understand? Y'all have gotten free info. Y'all should
know what I
pay
mean?
so we can split this money and have fun.
But yeah, like that's what it is. I mean,
Yeah.
you want to say something?
No, that was just it. I just wanted to tell people to patronize you.
I want to continue on the second talking point. You have to by first, please.
Yeah. So we left the workplace now.
Yeah.
And obviously, if you work,
Hope we
that
covered
means that at the end of the month you collect salary.
Sorry.
So I just like to know how the Gen Zs in the house. How do you cope with? Like Nigeria's economy has been in the toilet since the last 7-8 years. In short, since Buhari.
In fact, since 1999.
No. We can't go back now. Since Buhari.
We're not like that.
So yeah. So how is it
Yeah.
like? What's the relationship with money now? When you guys get your salary, how do you break it down? How do you deal with it? Do you just splurge at once, or do you save for a rainy day? Which happens to it rains every day now.
Yes, so
Financially,
my rainy season.
every day is financially. Now they quote to the use now.
Yeah.
So how do you guys deal with money? What's your relationship with money like?
Do you want to go first?
Okay, let me go first.
So your baby.
So, fortunately for me, my relationship with money has always been good. I think that's something that I picked up from my mother. There was one time that I read these tweets that talked about how people the relationship that people have with money sometimes as a result of their trauma with money or like
As children,
yeah. So growing up, we had to manage some things, right? Manage some resources. And I just became this person that when I had 10K, I wanted it to remain 10K for such a long time. I was just removing it small because I didn't want it to reach the point where I was now with 500 or like I didn't have any money again. So even like from uni days, when I get money from anywhere, I'm saving.
Okay.
I'm always saving. Like I always have money in my savings, even if it's 20K, even if it's 80K, but I would have money in my savings. By the time I was done with school, I had money in my savings.
Yeah.
And so when I started working and I was interning and I wasn't really getting paid, I was using my savings to, fund my lifestyle. Sometimes I'll buy food, transport fare, all those little things. So when I started earning money, the first thing I'll do is save. And thankfully, I have always worked from home. So I started working remotely from the onset.
Soft life. You don't know.
So I never really had to, and I've never really experienced the going to work every day physically. I've never really like experienced that. So, and my company then would give us money, a stipend for data of 15,000 every month. So that usually used to like, that would help reduce the cost of data. So first thing I do when I get my salary is save money. When I save, or before I even save, I first think about the bills that are recurrent in my life, especially during the month, like gym,
Netflix.
like contribution at home. No, I don't pay for Netflix. Okay. I have friends that use their accounts. And I live with my mother, so I live in my parents' house. So obviously the dynamics of that would be different, especially for somebody who lives on their own. They'll be spending more money. So I eat home food. I work from home. We get data stipend. I'm a home babe, literally. I only spend money. I never really spend money on food. So I have like I would say that I had a lot for myself. And so because I did have a lot for myself, I used to save more. So I never really spent my money on so many things that were not really meaningful. I would always think most of the time, were there days where I bought things on impulse? Yes. But I had a healthy savings culture, and I still do.
Amazing.
But help me.
But do you
please.
have responsibilities though, regardless?
Yes, I do have responsibilities. I have responsibilities for myself. I have responsibilities for like my family. Even though my parents aren't people that ask, right? They don't really ask for money or but I show them love in other areas.
Yeah, no.
My mother would like me now to pay for her gas. Those are the things that those are the ways that you get to her. You pay for gas. You pay for DSTV stuff. When people are, tell us, come and subscribe for us. You pay for that one. Or she that she likes the slippers that I'm wearing, I should buy for her. All those type of things. My cousin, I have a cousin that I put on like monthly allowance since last year, and I just send him money like every month because my uncle would do that.
I don't have
me.
cousin.
Because I had an uncle that did that for me for about 4 years when I was in uni, and he was just sending me money every month.
Shout out to
till
that
I finished. Uncle Kunle, shout out to Uncle Kunle. No, he doesn't.
There's nobody to give money to.
Yeah, we're nephews.
So that's my relationship with money.
Okay.
I find it interesting what she said, because as at the time of recording, we mentioned that we are like two sides of a coin, bringing you on here so you can have your
The pod before the pod.
Yeah, but her relationship with money is actually very, very similar to mine. In the sense of just kind of starting from the back.
Back end.
Just not a lot of responsibilities, but my parents also don't ask, but you go out of your way to do one or two things: water bills, gas bills, things like that. I've worked from home. I've worked on site. I've always done hybrid. I've never done like a Monday to Friday. That would wreck me entirely.
Kill you.
My first advice for managing finances: never look at your bank statement. You are sure to be as depressed as can be. Like when you see money that comes in and money that goes out, you would think you are the worst person. But truthfully, the economy is just it's zero.
Economy.
I save a lot as well. From a very young age, I've had to get stuff for myself, not because of any other reason, just because I liked that feeling. So like little things like the phone I used in senior secondary school or junior secondary school, I would save. I would be very frugal. And I would try to get it for myself. So I've already built like a saving habit. I got that from my mom. So till now, like I, always saving. I get my salary, the first thing I save. Then I try to, also take stock of the things that I'm paying for, and always constantly ask myself, like, should I be paying for that? For Netflix and Spotify, like those kind of, would I say, services, I'm like in a family thing. I'm making sure I'm not paying for myself. Anything else apart from Netflix. In fact, this month I was reading a lot. I read, so I was like, do I really need to pay for Netflix this month? But it's kind of a thing where if you don't pay, they kick you out that month. I'm like, it's fine. Just take the money and be going. I've had that relationship with money. And people who often come up to me, I'm like, I don't see you spend money.
Right.
Your baby's going to suffer.
Weekend.
That's
and I'm like,
please.
If she has any financial intelligence whatsoever, we'll be fine.
Exactly.
It really doesn't. But to be fair, like the way things are going is quite harsh. Like, I use a commute system, Shotlers. I'm not doing free PR for them. That's it's the name. That's all. And when I started working last year, it was around 700. Fast forward to now, after the whole boom, we're paying 1.7 just for the going trip alone. So like 3-4 coming back, and then in like a week you have like 10K. In a month it's like 40K. I don't necessarily sit down to write down that my transportation is 40K, else I will be very, very irate. But I just know at the back of my mind that this is this and this is that. What makes me happy is like when I look at my savings, I'm like, damn.
Yeah,
Like,
I have a lot of
feeling.
money.
I spoke to someone a while back and they were like, if I have 10K and I want suya of 10K, I'm going to go for suya of 10K.
Jonathan.
I'm like, me? That 10K is going to sit itself there and it's going to be there because suya can wait. So I wouldn't... Even if I wanted to...
do you know that was something that Ugochi taught me? Like, Ugochi taught me that, actually. Ugochi and Victoria, to be honest.
Ugochi has tried for me.
I like to hoard money a lot.
I like to hoard money.
But then they also made... And my mother would say that, Teresi, money is for spending.
Yes.
For example, there were like some recent purchases that I had to do, right? That involved me emptying my savings. And then I was just complaining to my mother that, see, I don't like how I don't just really have any money now. She said that, but why have you been saving if you can't use this money to fund something that you want to do with your life? I'm like, yeah, but I don't just really like, I'm not comfortable with the fact that my savings now are almost like non-existent. Zero, yeah. But what I used it for was very, very important to my life. So she just tell me that, you know what, spend this money. So sometimes I don't deprive myself anymore of certain cravings that I have, especially when I know it is not silly, right? Things that I ask myself before I buy something is before I buy something, for example, I noticed a trend with my purchases last year that was just very stupid. I would buy clothes. I'll buy clothes that I don't need just because they're fine. Bandage dresses, short gowns, I'll buy heels. This was also like very constant in 2021. All these things, hair. And I realized that most of these things, I won't see them to use till like maybe 8 months later, 7 months later. Because most places that I go to, I have to be casually dressed or I may just even want to buy something in the moment that just fits my mood in that moment, right? Okay. So I was having to now like have like I was having like backlog of clothes that I hadn't worn. And by the time I was even now ready to wear them, gym body, it don't already they set. They don't size me again. So now before I make certain decisions like that, how is this thing going to serve me? Okay, this pair of heels, nice. But can you walk in them? No, we're not buying. These sneakers are nice. Do we need them? Okay, we already have 3. Maybe we don't really need them. So I ask these questions before I buy things. And I also don't borrow people money. Only my friends.
Yes, very important.
Only my friends, my close friends. If you ask me to borrow your money, there's a high chance that I will not give you. And if I maybe just like you a tiny bit, I can just dash you like maybe small 5K.
Yeah, I won't give you the full thing.
I can just be okay. Exactly. But if you're not my friend, because money will make you see parts of people that you would have never. Yeah. Oh my God. So I just don't like stressing that.
Yeah, that last thing about borrowing people money, very like for me, I once I got a message from a friend. She was like, you haven't checked up on me in a while. She did that whole emotional guilt thing. And I was like, okay, fine. Today is not the day. Let's not. How are you doing? Fine, I'm good. Okay, no, how are you doing? She said she's not good. And I was like, oh shit. And and I was like, okay, what's wrong? She said, her rent is almost due.
How old is your friend?
She's older than me. Okay. She was like, her rent is almost due, and she's not being able to. She's not seeing enough money on time. So can I lend her 100K? Fam, it's not possible. I like borrowing money is very, very tricky. I'm only able to let go of money. I'm only able to borrow money I'm willing to let go of. Like if I give you 10K, I know that if you pay me back or if you don't pay me back, I'm fine. But to give you money that I will not have to text you, how far? My money? No, I can't. Like I just can't because something will always go wrong. Yeah. They'll be like, oh bro, I broke my leg as I was on the way to the bank and now I have to no. And then you're like that bad person that is always asking for money even though they've broken their leg. Broken leg aside, please wire me my thank you. God bless.
Your 100K.
My 100K. But just another thing that you said about denying yourself cravings or casual spending. I wasn't earlier saying to deny yourself completely. I'm just the kind of person that if I have 10K left, I would rather spend 5K to try and satisfy a craving than spend the whole 10K.
Yes.
Right? Like the thing you're feeling about your savings is like financial insecurity, and I hate it for days because there's a lot of disrespect that comes with financial insecurity. Can you give me 1K for data? 1K for data? Who are this? Like, I want to be able to, with me, there's always so there's this thing I've heard that there's always that one thing that's taking someone's money. No matter how frugal you are, it might be clothes for you, it might be shoes. For me, it's gadgets. I'm leaving this place now. I'm going to go and get a new set of earbuds because
Love it.
I can't navigate Lagos Road without something in my ear.
Tech bro.
Do you understand? Like, for me, it's gadgets. You know, I'm always willing to compromise sometimes for something like that. But to you know, spend to the point where I'm bare broke. And for me, bare broke is not zero. It probably is like maybe 5, 10K or maybe even 20K. Like if I have just 20K left, I'm shivering. I'm like, no.
That's below bare broke.
No.
Bare broke, I still have like 20K in my savings.
Do you understand?
Because like I don't have
you can't be you can't let it go. Anything can happen.
I've seen the people that I'm supposed to get money from.
Anything can happen at the slightest moment.
I feel like I work with you now.
No.
No, I can't let it go so far low. I would feel so insecure, and it's something you said about how you deal, how it was for you as a child. I'm the kind of person now that I like to, if something has failed, please find a way to dustbin and replace you. But while we're younger, we had to always constantly repair. But what that did for me was I did learn how to repair a bunch of stuff, and I'm not so quick to like see something and be like, oh, let that go away. But there's sometimes I look at it, maybe if I repaired it once or twice, I'm like, you know what, just
you have to
find a way to decide, just go away. But the baseline for me is I'm never going past, I have a fear of being broke. The disrespect that comes with it, not for me.
Yeah, that's sure it is bad actually.
You guys are going to answer one question around the room. Black holes. You talked about yours, gadgets. Seriously, you're going to say yours. Nana, you're going to say yours. So, talk about your relationship with money. You never spend your money for me, so I don't know whether you get. You don't share.
Alright, so basically, first off, I stay alone. So the way I handle money has to be different. Like they're not going to tell you. You understand?
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm an economist, so I know the difference between wants and needs. So before I get something, I ask myself.
Sorry, we don't know. We just read the cons. We just read economics in secondary school. We didn't listen.
We not do them.
So basically, before I get something, I ask myself like, guy, do you need this PRV? You just want to flex on it, and then I don't like wastage. I really hate wastage, especially when it's and people say I'm stingy. Like people see it as this guy just now wow you color this. Let's say color. I mean, it's an issue in my relationship, right? Because I mean, I'm with you, I'm with my girlfriend, and chill.
We can't relate.
You are quote unquote craving burger and fries or whatever. I'm like, okay, how much is it? Okay, I bought it for you, and then you take 2 bites and you're telling me you're full. You're full out. How are you full? No, you don't finish it though. You're not telling me. You're not telling me. The thing. No.
A good as adults.
After, but with my other money, you're telling me, it's not as
see, madam, you have to dip inside water.
No, you go jump out.
What?
Next thing is okay. You know what go happen here? I will keep on before you go chop am finish. Go, maybe na mood. So and then I'm hearing stuff like, you are too this, you are too. I'm like, that's what I work for now. So why would I be? I hate wasting.
My boss your brain. Now she doesn't eat. You are not eating your own food at home. So now come, your food.
Oh my God.
2 become 1. 2 becomes 1.
We will tell you one. What? Come on now.
So I think I'm now very I've been conscious of money like so much that people see it as this guy you are stingy to yourself or anything, right? Because I basically stay alone. I mean, and I don't like burdening my mom for money or anything. Because I'm like, no, only me they born now. So and I feel it's because I saw my brothers do things on their own, and I have that now man you be. So that's another time I like if I like for instance now let's say I need to sort out my NEPA bills or anything, I'll be like, I don't have. If I saw this P out now, I won't have much left with me. Should I call? No, we go get down. We go get down. We go get down. So like, even but I know that even when I call, they'll come through for me like, okay, how much is it? But then I have that mindset of, well, make I will get down. People they do, people they do, they get to those kind of things. So, I mean, before I get anything, I just basically ask myself, do you want this P or do you need
But
it?
do you have friends that you can also ask for help if you're drowning?
Yes, but I keep them to just 2 or 3.
Okay.
Because there's some people that even if they are in the position to help you, I don't want to ask because of how shitty you are as a person. You might not want to ask. You be like, well, don't worry, I beg. It's just I'm like, yo, take your money back. Like, oh, no way. The next thing you'll be hearing stuff like, I mean one out. I'm like, yo, but I want to pay you back. I don't collect it for free, so I don't ask people for money. Like, I mean, I don't like asking people for money. I mean, I can completely ask my sister for money.
I hate it.
I'd rather ask my sister. I'd rather ask my younger sister
my
for money
mother.
than ask my guys because I mean, you don't know what they say behind your back. Ah, see this guy. I mean, I rather ask.
Yeah, family is less likely to.
But then family is very very tricky because I'm even at fault in this because I borrowed money from my sister and she pursue me. I tell her, I say, oh more forget that CJ. So it's actually very tricky.
Me when I borrow from my sister, I just say, look, if I'm borrowing like 30K, just know that I'll pay you next 1 week with 35K. So there's interest.
No,
so that
interest.
Everybody
But I don't pay.
so that back is always there. Yeah.
Aya, do you need a loan?
I don't.
Do you need a loan?
No.
There's interest. I end up giving you interest. I end up giving you interest, but I have that bad habit of not paying on time because you are my sister. If it was
That's not
Ugochi I
good,
borrowed
though.
money from, I would be eager to pay her. But I'll be like, Mama,
You know
I'm
me,
going to sit
man.
down
Bro,
outside first.
even when I buy
so
stuff,
I have that's something like I
even when I
can't
buy
be
stuff
working
from
on.
friends, let's say I buy a phone from you, I have a guy who's like my friend. I don't from paddy. I give you your money on
because I
time.
don't like it when they do it to
If
me.
I have to pay twice, I make sure that even before that second, I pay already.
So
Man, no just
now in doing business with friends, yeah, I don't like it because if you come and meet me like, okay, yeah, now I want you to handle my social media page or whatnot, I give you my price. You try to underpay me because you're my friend, but you go outside and they tell you 100K, you pay the 100K, and I tell you 100K, are telling me, bro, how far I want you 50. I'm like, yo, and you pay that same amount to outsiders. Why? I mean, it's not. Yeah, I don't like the best people to do transaction with are strangers I don't know. They're like sharp, everybody, alpha. This and this. They want to negotiate. It will be very very little and boom. When you're now friends, you now start bringing pleasure into business. I beg. This is strictly
Which type
business.
of pleasure, please?
which one is not the next one already.
No answer. I don't have an answer to say.
You say you want to do the round.
So basically, they're just in terms of money. I think it's because I stay alone and I study economics. So I mean, staying alone would do a lot of things to you. Not like it will break you. To be honest, you start planning your meal. You start planning your dinner from 7 a.m. You don't look and say, if I chop this one, make I not chop this one. Make I. You start planning your dinner from 7 a.m. You start planning your next breakfast from today. Like which I go chop tomorrow morning, which I go make I not chop tonight. So tomorrow morning I go chop where all this kind of thing. So and then the bills and everything, this one will come. It's that time everything will be spoiling. You tell me what? Everything will be spoiling. This one will break. This one, I'm like, why? When I get money, don't is no spoil. Now when I know just everything they shake, everything just say this one spoil, TV blue, this one blue.
Breathe, your rent is due again. You're just like,
And landlord is not telling you, you need to increase what? And I'll be telling you that I am the one that's fixing my window. I'm the one. See, Lagos will scatter your head. That's just what I will just tell you. You run mad.
What is the financial black hole for you? What would you spend your money on without thinking about it?
Gadget, like I love gadgets, right? And me, I'm okay. I know and sneakers. I'm a shoehead, so I'm like I have like 20 something shoes. Like I just like buying shoes and like switching and everything. But aside those two, I don't think of it. I'll not be woman because me, I'm stingy for woman. If you want to ask me for money, give me a valid reason why I ask. Don't tell me. I I just want to have it in my account.
As
Why?
the great
Why just-
Layi Wasabi said,
Why?
if you are not
Why?
a problem solver
Why?
in a woman's life,
Why?
you are a problem.
I'll buy food for you.
The lie that
I
said
will not
it.
eat it
A
finish.
problem.
Why?
The lie that said it. Lost his trousers. The trousers for the ground.
If I buy you something,
Layi has money.
you tell me
please.
you're craving something.
Layi is a rich
If
boy.
you tell me you're craving something and I provide it for you, you must crave it finish. Oh. Don't come and eat
Don't
one
worry,
bite
I
or two
will
bites. You
crave
can't
it
tell me,
finish.
you know,
I will
I'm
fully
full. I'm washing
crave-
washing which weight. You don't know, say they watch you tell me say make I order this one. So you guys chop and finish because me know I'll take get my money. I don't care how much it is, but you I know I don't know if it's a bad habit go more. I don't care, man. I don't care.
This is not about him today. So I've heard everybody's pain, and I
You don't
feel like all
ask
of
me
you
my
are
own
all of a sudden so smart with your
You
money.
asked me my own
Yeah, what's your financial
black
back
hole?
I'm sorry to your
I'm
ledger.
actually interested in.
Yeah.
what
Really?
your
You're
financial
interested?
black hole
Oh my
is.
Me, I think
God.
I have an idea, but I'm listening to your ledger. Tell us.
My financial black hole. Is it the thing that I cannot do without spending on?
The thing that you would spend
You
your
have it
money
like a
on
soft spot for-
without thinking about it.
The gym, first of all.
Okay.
There's that.
Gym subscription is like a part of my life.
Yeah, but
I
like
would-
that one is
I
like a
would-
tail thing. Like it's like a part of your life already.
Platforms, sandals, shoes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But not heels. Shoes like platform sandals,
Somebody else is wearing
all those
sandals,
type of
Ugochi.
things.
Allah.
No, your own is different.
Handmade stuff, handmade footwear,
Yeah.
handmade earrings. I love all those craftsy things.
You like jewelry, you like
No, I don't
accessories.
really like. I'm not really a jewelry person, right? But I like earthy things ish. Yeah, they're just
Yeah.
like sort of different. So like things like that. I think. What else do you think I can spend money on?
Enjoyment.
Yes. Sorry.
So-
Oh my God. How could I have missed
That's
that?
what I thought first.
Yeah,
What is
enjoyment.
enjoyment for you?
Enjoyment for me is raving.
Okay.
Raving.
I saw to us I want rave now.
Yeah.
When?
Yeah.
The Tiger Bear one that I saw it. That was
Oh yeah, the one I
Too many raves
Lagos
after.
rave. Oh my God.
After.
And I only just started doing raves this year, but you would always catch me spending my money at a rave. And you see, it's not actually even
So-
expensive to
Forgive
rave
me,
in
but
this Lagos.
what is a rave?
Gen Z.
Oops.
Tell them.
So a rave
Yeah.
is like it's a party. It's
Okay,
a kind of
I'm
party
out.
that usually features EDM, electronic
electronic
dance
dance music,
music, Afro house, Afro tech.
So loud
So
music.
yeah, of course, loud music, but it's not for everybody. Most times the crowd compared to like
Normal
other
parties.
Afro, no, they don't play shady vibes. If you
What is-
hear
They said tech. They said tech. Not
Not lonely at the
Afro
top.
So even if you hear like
Not
a
DJ
Nigerian
YK.
music, if you
Alternate
hear like
something.
Nigerian something, for example, there was this thing that Aniko did with one of Thames music at Revolution, and it just blew my mind
Shout
off.
out to Nico.
Shout out to Aniko, please. But then the way they mix it is sounds, is beats. So you're jamming to beats, like you're jamming to. You're not doing Asama. That's not what we are doing. I know why they give me
What does that do to you?
and raves usually feature a lot of people in the queer community too.
Okay.
So you come as you are, wear what you want, do
Okay.
what you want, just be alright.
Yeah.
Queer community.
Yeah. I love queer parties.
You guys, we're going to
Hence, this is
I
why
have
it's
a
called the
question,
Gen Z episode.
You guys, we're going to enter one topic right now.
Uh-huh.
After this question, after this one is going to be, we'll have one more and then we'll be out, right? Very important one. Relationship. This relationship, please try to ensure that you also touch on sexuality and how it affects you, because that's some people are talking about a lot these days now. Like it's part
It's
of
everywhere.
yeah. So sexuality, being from a Nigerian Gen Z perspective, right? What is relationship like, and what is your take on what's your take on sexuality? How does it affect you? However you want to play with sexuality, do that. Who wants to go first?
Okay.
What
Thank you for.
do you mean by sexuality? Like,
Also now we're in
orientation, like
exactly we're in a time of the
Straight,
LGBTQ
are
conversation,
you-
right?
Okay.
Non-binary questioning. There's so much.
plus plus.
You understand? There's so much to deal. There's so much to deal. There's so much to deal with, right? But focus on this one.
Yeah.
Right? So right, I just want to know what you guys. So you may first.
Okay. I know you asked 2 questions, which is what's relationship like as a Gen Z, and what's your gender or your sexual orientation,
or whatever you want to talk about sexuality. Talk about it. How does it affect you? You feel like you're a woman. You wish you were. You wish you were a woman and you feel like that.
Direct question, no.
Okay.
So no, shade toward them. They are one of the most strongest people in the world right now. But for me, I'm straight. The only tendencies I've had is I've seen some male actors and I'm like, damn, boy, you fire. But like, I've never ventured outside of my own, to quote your spectrum. Like, I know I'm straight. I want to be straight. I'm going to be straight. I will be straight.
You are straight.
Do you understand? Like a ruler, that's it.
Yes.
We're not bending. Also, like, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, anyone in the room, but like the world is more friendly toward, the world is very unfriendly toward men who venture outside sexuality, outside the straight sexuality. Okay. Like, a man can see a lesbian woman and be like, ooh, that's hot. I dig that. I like lesbian women. I want to see 2 women make out. Society will see a gay man and like, if I deck you, there was a day I was in a space with a couple friends. This guy walks in, he's wearing a white shirt, there's a blood stain on his shoulder. And we're talking. He would join the conversation, we're talking. I was like, wait, why is there a blood stain on your shoulder? I was like, oh, he was talking with a couple of people downstairs. And I'm like, go on. And I was like, there's this one dude, they know he's queer. And he was talking to him and he put his hand on his shoulder. And I was like, don't ever touch me again. But the way he spelled that out was with like maybe physicality, like, trying to. So that was the blood stain of the.
So he hit the guy.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. And if you watch a series like Sex Education, you see how Eric, who is
the black guy,
attacked a lot. So crazy. As a man, you're not as predisposed to venturing out. I have friends that are. I have female friends who are queer. I have male friends who are queer, and just from the experience, both of they're always in hiding, of course, but for the men, it's massive unsafe. Relationships in as a Gen Z, I wouldn't say so. One thing I know, 2 things, or a couple things. We are exposed to much more information. There's a lot that we can that we now know, because it also explains why far younger people are intimate or are in a relationship. Just like the children that went for inter-house sports and we're having sex. It's crazy. We're exposed to much more information in terms of intimacy, how we love, which is a good and a bad thing. Then you have situations where I think it still boils down to that problem of too much information. But me, I always say, if you know what you want, if you are intelligent enough to outline what you want, find someone who there's like a crisscross, like it's almost the same thing with a little differences that you can both work on, and just hold your hands together and go that way.
Let's say na marriage.
Because there is so much that can go wrong, and especially for sexuality, like especially for intimacy rather. You have situations where you want to try out something, this person's not trying out, or maybe you've been together for a long while and you're like, okay, now let's now do this thing, and this person is not into it, and you're like, okay, now I have to cheat on them or I have to move away or something like that. That's just what it is. I think ours is guided by a lot of information.
Is it difficult?
Yes and no. If you, I think it goes back to kind of like the money topic. You have to learn to filter. So this is coming in. Some people don't entertain. Back to the guy thing again. Some people like, okay, there's gay people. I don't want to hear. That's not my thing. Let's not even bother having the conversation. Some people are like, okay, tell me about it. I like to sit down and have conversations with people who are not straight, who are queer, or who have a predisposition to queerness, just to be educated on the subject. But it doesn't mean I'll venture into it. But there are some people that will be like, I'm filtering. Don't even come to me with that thing. Else, your blood stain, my shirt. They're gonna be together. So if it's difficult, it's a thing of learning how to receive that information, how to manage it for me. There's stuff I've seen and I'm just like, nah. Like I said, I've seen. Okay, so I'm going to mention the actor that I really like seeing on my feed. If you watched Bridgerton, he was in season 1. Regé Jean Page.
Oh my god,
that man! I'm just like
a fine man.
It's funny to talk about him this week.
You know, but like I wouldn't ever, go all the way. Like I see him, I'm like, okay, sir, yes, I am now ready.
You just appreciate a gorgeous
yeah,
man.
do you understand? And I feel like that's another thing people don't understand. They're like, he's gay. It's just like, no, I can appreciate people when I see them. I think that's also part of sexuality. But like people don't see that way. Like if I see a good looking guy come to the office or, a friend of mine, I'm just like, guy, you look good. Men don't do well with that. Men don't like that. What are you talking about?
You're telling a guy he looks good.
Do you understand?
No. You see, that's
Your muscles are bigger.
That's a Gen Z thing.
Your muscles are bigger.
As a man, I say, guy, you try, you can't, you do okay.
That guy, they can't.
I was united. I looked at me like, yeah, calm down.
Do you understand? So yeah, for me, it's just too much information. Learning how to navigate, knowing what you want, be open. If you meet someone, for instance, let's say I wanted to be in a relationship with a lady and she's bisexual, I'm not going to say,
this conversation is different.
Do you understand? It's a whole thing. I wouldn't say, okay, because it's like this demon is working inside your body, I not do. She might be the best person for you out there as compared to some, straight Christian, yada, yada, yada. You might end up not appreciating and it might be bad. So be open-minded.
Yeah.
Just that's how I approach it. But I know what I want. I'm open-minded. But for now, I'm just gonna stick to.
You're still straight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a ruler.
What I can hear is that you're not in a relationship. That's all I can hear from
Because
all of
no,
this.
I can
But there's no, this is not relationship therapy.
No, I just talk. No. I don't get it. I want
Every
it.
time we go to just want to make relationship status.
I can neither confirm nor deny it.
I love it.
God,
Don't
I
do
beg.
it. I love it. Who wants to go next?
Me. Let me go next.
Okay.
I think that the sexuality conversation is one that I like to talk about because I think that again, society has painted some of these things as very negative, demonic, satanic,
Absolutely.
marine spirits, etc., right? And one of the things that I love about myself, I think that's my most attractive feature to myself, aside my voice, is my mind. It's how it's very willing to just open up to, the experiences of other people. And I think that's why I also love storytelling, right? When you meet some of these people, you realize that they are comfortable in their sexuality. And in my head, it's like, okay, so why are people now attacking them for things that, really concern you?
Yeah.
Like, no be you and one fuck. Like, why they cry about this thing, right? And I also think that, for example, the men thing that you talked about, where you said that men don't like to hear sweet things, or it's upbringing.
From other men.
Yeah, it's upbringing. Women are usually seen as the soft ones, the ones that
Should
compliment, the ones that should be admired. Men are just seen as providers, like, oh, you just go out to work,
Do you understand?
take care
Go
of the
to
woman
war.
and look fine. But now we have men
livestock.
who are, we have men who love men who admire men, and men who intentionally want to take care of themselves. We have men who have feminine styles,
I wanna take care
right?
of myself.
Men who wear skirts and look gorgeous. Men who wear crop tops. They wear vests. They wear ripped clothing.
I is dying. I is
Why is
legit.
a man wearing a crop top?
And you
He's
want
Oh
my
my
fashion.
god! Oh my god! You
He's
see,
like, no, I think that's his
somebody
face.
that does so great at this fashion thing for me is Denola Gray. I love how he puts pieces together.
Your face.
Don't kill me. Who?
Any.
Yeah, Annie is also great.
James Brown.
Amazing. No, please.
Please, we stop.
That's where we draw the line.
Don't push it.
That's where we draw the line. But
He's a
with
princess,
sexuality as a whole, I think that I think that everybody can do what they want, right? I'm straight. But
yeah.
I also think that there are certain situations where I have found women attractive.
Yeah.
Even till now, like I was at this rave last year and there was this babe that was flirting with me and she was so gorgeous.
I love the honesty.
Tell us more, please.
I'm down.
Well, that's what I was wearing.
I was just dancing with my friend, you know. I was gone. First of all, I was gone. But I was having the time of my life.
Love it.
The music was good. Everywhere was dark. You know, you had these blinking lights, different colors. And she was on the other side of the room, right? Close to the DJ. She was smirking. And I had seen her, but I was just dancing. There were many people that I had seen. She was dressed in this, I think she was wearing this really short mini skirt. And this top, she has big boobs, but not too big, just the right amount, and she has a cute face. And so she was looking at me at first. She was just doing her eyes in some very seductive way, and in my head I was just like, oh, okay, what's this? Like, I love it. Okay. And then she just smiled to me, I love your outfit, and I wanted to die. I was just like, oh my God, woman. Don't be doing that. Don't be doing that. But I liked it, right? These are things that maybe, let's say 3 years ago, if this had happened, I'd probably think, oh my God, why did I find it so cool that she was flirting at me? Am I going to hell? Am I going to, is this bad?
Yeah.
Exactly. There's also Christianity, there's society. Oh my God, what would somebody think of this? Can I even tell my friend that somebody was attracted to me or somebody was trying to flirt with me and that person was a woman? But now it's something that I'm very like, to a certain extent, I'm open like to receiving all of the flirt with me, please. Do what? Before that party, I went for like an all women themed party or women themed party. I'm not sure. And it was just so amazing to just see lesbians, to see trans women, to see all sorts of women just be themselves in a space. Yeah, it was so hot. And I'm so glad that there were no men there because it was just very beautiful. There was
killed the vibe.
It was beautiful. Like you just see a lot of women twerking on each other. Some women are just like hanging over with their boobs. Bro.
When did you come for this party?
No, please.
Don't come.
No men.
Don't go there.
Men aren't allowed here, please.
Identify as a woman.
Please, but please, I'm all for like, you know, the sexuality, the different parts of, you know, sexuality. Like anything you say you want to do, be fine. But there are some things that I do not understand about, especially when, especially with trans people, right?
Yeah, that's where I kind of...
Trans women, trans men, they try to claim rights of like biological women. And I'm not trying to downplay their emotions or how they feel about certain things, but I don't know if I would ever be comfortable being in a bathroom, for example, with a trans woman that is still obviously with a penis. Like I'm not sure how I might get there to that point, but I'm not sure how I'm supposed to work my mind through that. Yeah. Do you understand? Where it's not like, okay, you're treating this person who has transformed from being a man to a woman as a full-on woman. Even in sports, right? You can't say that they have the same... you can't treat them the same way. A trans woman and a woman running the same race. You know, they say that men have certain advantages. Exactly. So hormones. That cannot be the same thing. There are still so many differences that we have. Yes, that just saying, oh, okay, you feel a woman, you can't really like change that. But then again, like, do you at the end of the day? For relationships,
as long as it's not toxic.
As long as it's not toxic to me, and that's something that's just very like, if it's not affecting me, if it's not affecting anybody, if it's not putting anybody in bad situations, like, just do you. For relationships, I don't really know, but I just think that it's easier to be, I think that for me, I think it's easier to be in a relationship now because there are more people, because of how aware they are about their sexuality. They're also like aware of their of themselves. And if you're aware of yourself enough to be, first of all, honest with yourself, I think that you can live a more intentional life, or you can have more intentional relationships. So if you're queer or you're bisexual, I don't think that you should be hiding it. But I also understand why some people hide it, right? Because of judgment and so many other things like that.
Violence.
Exactly, violence too, especially with gay men. There are the thing where you talked about gay women being more attractive to men is very valid. That's why even in threesomes, you see this man, he wants to sleep with two women, but if the woman says, no, I want a man too, it becomes a problem. Because
So it's a problem.
why is it a problem?
It's a problem.
Why?
So we don't cross swords.
No, that's
But military men do now. They cross swords as a sign of salute. I know what you're saying. But I refuse to agree.
It's not the same sword.
so like that's how I think about relationships.
Is it easy for you?
to be more open?
No, are relationships as a Gen Z easy for you?
I won't really say as a Gen Z.
Yeah, I don't think it's a thing.
I don't think it's a as a Gen Z thing, right? I think that for me, I'm just very open towards I'm very open to certain things now, and I think that what being a Gen Z has sort of maybe helped me with is just understand or be more open to understanding who I am, my sexuality, the things that I want, the things that I love. And so if I'm going to be with somebody, right, the person has to also be somebody that is open-minded. I'm not willing to just put myself in this box. Do you understand? As far, okay, this is what I am supposed to do. When I'm in the bed, the man comes, he lay on me, do what he's supposed to do, we born. No, dear, that's not how it works. I don't fuck with that.
Intimacy.
I want intimacy, and I want intentional intimacy. And you can only get intentional intimacy when you know yourself and you open your mind to so many things, right?
I actually agree with her now.
Crazy.
So that's it for me.
So before he goes, there's something I wanted to
Ask
say.
me. Oh, okay.
Just maybe in addition, or maybe it might come up as a question. It may come out as a question. There's something you said about trans people, and I realized I did not touch on that because that is actually where. So that's actually where I kind of draw a line, because there was this news recently. I was trying to find it, but I couldn't. A trans woman won a women's sport, and there has been protests. I think it was in swimming, and there has been a lot of protests. And look, these people are genetically more predisposed to beating us at this kind of game. Funny enough, it's not just down to physical genetics. In chess, just to bore you a little bit,
there was a tournament World Cup recently.
Yeah. The highest title in chess is Grandmaster. Yeah. For a male Grandmaster, you have to get a rating of 2,500. For a female Grandmaster, you have to get a rating of about 2,200 or 2,300. So it's not actually the same thing. And you have situations where women, and it's not just a title. So the title is GM, but for women it's WGM. It's not the same thing, because you can have a situation where you could play 10 games straight as a woman, a female Grandmaster with a male Grandmaster, and you would not even smell a win. Yeah, it's very common. And back then, there was a lot of misogyny toward women to chess. One of the greatest all-time chess champions, Garry Kasparov, would often say, when they would ask him do you think more women should play chess? He'd be like, no, a woman's place is in the kitchen. He's a Russian. And
he explains a lot.
So I think after two movies, simultaneously, The Queen of Katwe and The Queen's Gambit was where you start to see more women come out into chess and fight for glory as equally as men.
The riots.
It was a whole thing.
Oh yeah.
There are women that have been so successful at chess, but the history books cleaned out their name. In fact, there are movies that were made on chess based off of a woman, but a male played the role.
Wow.
And it just never came up to the spotlight.
Why?
In fact, games like Monopoly were invented by a woman, but it never came to the spotlight. When you Google it, you see Hansbrough, a man, this. So it's not just physical genetics. They've kind of sidelined women. So now that women now have their thing, you now have a situation where men are still trying to infiltrate and come in and be. And I can understand it. So I'm trans woman compete in men's sports. Trans man.
Or they create a category
a separate
for
thing
them.
entirely. Yeah.
So trans women against trans men.
So there's a balance.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel like anybody's taking advantage of the other gender or whatever.
Nana, Oji.
Alright, so I just have one rule based off of sexuality and all. Yeah, I treat it as two different things. Yeah, for instance, let me put it in context. I like Young Emmy because she's a good rapper, but I don't like Young Emmy in terms of she being gay, right? So there are two different things. I have gay friends. Yeah, cool. We did alright. No other. But don't carry your gay shit to me.
like you.
I will change them for you. But we can actually relate. We can talk about that stuff. But don't come and start telling me you have nice lips. Nice lips, bow. I don't understand.
But what about if you have nice lips?
No, but the way you talk at the good day different. Don't be say we look at yeah. I think your lips are cute. I'm like, bro, Alpha, calm down, bro.
Can you sleep in the same bed? Let's say this thing guys do now. We were squatting with each other. We're spending like, okay, I'm just coming to your room to spend the night. Maybe we have an exam tomorrow. Can you sleep in the same bed with a gay man?
But if you touch me, the elbow straight too.
Can you sleep in the same bed?
No, as long as you know, say maybe I did like this. If you want, you go find. But if you touch me anyhow, I'll give you elbow like this.
One thing, as someone who has associated with a couple gay people, one thing they would always tell you is, we have choice too. Like, we don't just see every random man walking on the street and think...
Exactly. They have choice.
You have choice. I am happy and I am glad for the privilege that you consider me as a choice or as a spec. But no, true. Now as I said, I'm cool with that, but don't touch. Like I didn't say I can't stay in the same bed.
Yeah.
But I just said if you touch me, so I don't want to sleep and somebody is touching me. I'm feeling so.
Because I know I understand.
Before I have to ask a question.
I'll pray it is.
I have to ask a question. Why does that act? Why do you hate that act? I want to ask a question.
I don't know. Why are you touching me?
Okay, let me.
So you know this how ladies feel when men do it too.
No, why are you touching me?
But you know this how ladies feel when men do it too.
Okay, that was a day. That was. But no, my own is.
I just wanted to let you know.
That's a different thing.
It's not a different thing. They don't like it. Why are you touching them? Why are you touching them?
It's not different.
But the same thing.
I am not gay.
Yeah, you're not saying you're not
I
gay.
like cash. You understand?
Don't not attracted to
To
you.
you,
In
of
that sense.
sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. If you were beside an ugly lady sleeping, spending the night, same thing, same scenario. You're not attracted to her. She's
ugly.
maybe.
Please agree. Don't like that.
You don't fine. Chop your hair.
You are not attracted to her.
Yeah.
And she touches you. What would you do?
Well, I mean, I would react differently instead of just engaging.
You wouldn't physically hit her. Aside the fact that you can't physically hit her.
No. No.
I think it's the same thing. I think you should be able to.
What if it's James Brown that is sleeping beside you?
And you start touching me.
I can't lie.
Why would you? Wait, first off, I'll ask myself why James Brown is still beside me. But I realize that most of them are actually cool. Like when if you're like chilling with them and all, like they're actually cool. I don't have a problem with them, but don't
bring it on to me.
Do you understand?
I think that you can create your boundaries without being violent.
No, I'm not violent, but I'll tell you straight up from the onset. I'll clear you.
Or condescending about
I am
like
straight like spaghetti.
You tell them with a deep voice. Deep voice. The guy.
I go clear you straight up. Say, bro.
No, they touch me.
Bro. You can wear your crop top. You can do your tumba, but don't bring it close to me. You understand?
You don't do nice. It's a call for violence.
We can talk about football, talk about other things, but don't start telling me, you know. I don't know anything, no, bro.
You have nice hips.
But you don't have a problem with like people of different sexuality.
I love young Amy. Like.
But you say you don't like her because she's.
No, I'm saying like I like her based off the fact that. Oh, I don't judge her based on she's very concerned me and her. You understand? As long as she not bring her close to me. You understand? But Young Amy is a good rapper. I didn't see Young Amy long like, this baby's fire.
You know the art.
Yeah, exactly. So, but if I'm with her now, she start telling me, okay, let's say she's into guys. You know, Young Amy is actually into ladies and all. Let's say she's into guys and start bringing that shit close to me. I'll be like, forget to guy. You understand? I'll clear you say day or day. But I don't have an issue with that. I have a friend that is gay and we talk. And the guy even tells me that he likes talking to me because I don't make him feel this thing. But I'm like, on the other side, I already cleared it that don't come and start telling me you look cute. I don't look cute. If you want to tell me, say my picture. If you want to tell me my picture is fine, that's something you don't tell me. If I take a nice picture, don't tell me I look cute. So I'll be like, oh, wow.
What if a girl tells you?
No. Imagine me. Look at AOT2 now. It takes a fire picture like, oh, you look cute. What you go talk?
Sorry, what was I don't hear my name. What did you say?
Imagine now you take a fire picture, you post it, and I comment, oh, you look cute.
I think they hijacked your Instagram account. That's what I think.
You understand? Because you go look and say, you go read the message like 2 times. He will reply at once. Read like 2 times. Like I don't understand.
It is not the message. It's the person that is sending the message.
Exactly. Don't tell me I look cute. Oh, cute beards, bow.
So I think it's the message because the way men receive compliments is not the same way women receive compliments.
Oh yeah, yes, definitely.
Yeah,
So
You can't tell a man, oh, you're cute.
I think that's.
As a man, I feel you're a lady. And you're like, oh,
No,
you look so cute.
even for some men, it doesn't work.
No, if you're a baby and tell me I'm
doesn't-
cute, I'm like,
that means you don't even rate me.
No, not you. You're looking at me as like
Yes.
your gay best friend. No.
understand?
Say I'm manly. Say I'm manly.
Say you're buff.
Yes.
You have the thing.
Say I'm a bad guy.
Don't say I'm cute.
I am a bad
I
guy.
think in this new generation, men have the most resistance because what is
Resistance to affection.
Exactly.
And to honesty. Like,
Don't say I'm cute. What's cute?
was that?
Teddy bear is cute.
Do you understand?
I feel that this
Say
conversation.
I'm like Kadrogo.
Yes.
I grab.
I feel like this conversation is huge. We're going to drop it small now. Nana is going to tell us about relationships. And we're going to move to the final question, please, because what? Nana, you have relation.
What do you want to hear about relationship?
Is it difficult for you? What is being in a relationship right now as a Gen Z like?
I just feel what people these days don't engage in more is
That's your people.
what we do engage more in is like having proper conversations. You just feel, oh, we are dating. That's the end. Like you guys need to like actually. You guys actually need to like understand your piece. Like you guys know that, okay, yeah, this is. I mean, now my girlfriend here, she process data.
I never
like,
smell them for
slowly,
like how many
right?
years
I mean,
now?
I'm quick to react to things, and you are telling me you are still processing words. I don't understand. Like, I mean that those are things that we should have spoken about previously, so it won't become an issue. Like the way you okay, now we have issues, and I'm okay in 3 days, and I expect you to be okay in 3 days too, because I'm okay in 3 days, and you need like 2 weeks to process the whole thing, and I'm like, which one be it? And like, yeah, I don't know. You understand? Like those are things that you should actually like have conversations about before you just jump into relationships and all. And I feel people these days, we don't know what being in a relationship is. You just like the whole I have a boyfriend, I have what exactly
It's a boyfriend trophy.
like you just like, oh, I've been dating for 5 years, I've been dating for 2 years.
Yeah.
But what
No,
exactly are you
people
guys
don't
doing in your
understand what it
relationship?
entails.
Do you guys have proper conversations, or you guys just sit around, goof
Or do you
around?
run away when you have small struggles?
How do you guys resolve conflict? Like
Yeah.
you guys have an issue. How do you resolve? How do you resolve conflict? Like
Actually,
no, like like these are things that I'm not saying that I'm perfect and all. I mean, be able to take responsibility for your actions. If you fuck up, no say you fuck up. Don't come and start doing that's the way I am. I don't understand. I don't give a fuck. That's the way you are.
oh my god, I'm
grew
a
up like that.
Cancer.
Like it's not making sense. You're an adult. you
Yes, we not gonna get a relationship.
you should actually be able to be responsible for your actions. Like you should know that, okay, what you are doing has consequences. Like you can't just shove everything under the carpet.
You guys need to know that Ugochi is dragging single people on this pod. And it is not fair because she's also single.
She's the chair lady of singleness.
Like, I don't understand.
To sum it all, I just think
Bella Ninja picture is coming.
Which jellyfish.
to sum it all,
Okay.
I just feel you guys should just know what you are doing in a relationship. Like you should know what being in a relationship is. It's not just, oh, I have a boyfriend, I have a girlfriend. Like you should actually know what being in a relationship is. That's the thing. I'm still getting to know that P. Like
If you want to learn full time what being in a relationship fully feels like.
My number is.
I don't know if I'll call it a bad habit, but
I am serious and willing. You know, you're cool headed, you're calm, you have money. Call me.
I believe you. That last part. I have this habit of, I don't know if I would say it. if I would say it's a bad thing, but I have this thing of because I see women. Sorry, but I see women as no come with manual. Like even
nobody comes with a manual. It's not just women.
I don't feel that. I can't understand. Like let's see. There will be a time, Ugochi. I'm telling you straight. There will be a time I'll reach you up. I'll be like, Ugochi, I want to ask you something.
Hit me up
How this speed they were because women, you guys,
Hit me up.
Today,
we're
you
not
guys,
even that hard
your
to
mood swings.
understand.
I don't understand. Today you are happy. Tomorrow,
See,
you guys are never direct.
I'm not talking about women who don't talk or women who
And
keep things
they can't communicate.
or women
like,
who don't communicate. I'm not talking about those people. Ugochi and I are full-time communicators. That's who we are. We're very expressive about our feelings.
Like that's what being
talk.
A grown-up.
But not everybody does
You're
that.
not a kid that will be asking you to be communicating. You something like open your mouth, like talk, like
What do you want?
do you understand?
Yeah.
No, I'm saying, hey, I think you should know.
A lot of women are looking for mind readers.
I don't Papa house to read your mind. Open your mouth and talk. Don't tell me you should know by now. I don't understand. Am I a mind reader? Be able to communicate. Like, baby, just open your mouth. Basically, just open your mouth. If I'm not cool with it, I'll tell you I'm not cool with this. But don't keep it in and then say, and then you start acting up. And I'm wondering why you're acting up. You say, oh, it's because you are mad. And I don't know that you're mad. How am I supposed to know that you're mad? Yeah, so like, how am I like?
That's traumatic.
I don't understand. Like, how?
Very, very traumatic.
So what I find that also no, maybe not. Because of especially social media, young people are susceptible to terrible information, right?
And expectation.
Exactly. So it's when you go on social media and see somebody say she's a baby girl, but she don't be telling you how she's a baby girl. And so you think that being a baby girl is what she's showing you on social media, right? Or when she says, oh, if you need something from your man, a man is meant to provide. I feel like there's just a lot of things on social media, right? And I feel that the people, and I even feel this about work too, the people who know what to do are not talking enough. Either that or their voice is being drowned by the noise, right? True. And so a lot of young people, and that's why when you were talking about that, oh, you look at your brothers and you take dressing, right? I was talking about that with a friend recently. A lot of young people lack community of people who actually are doing the thing that is meant to be done, right? And so community sees what community does, right? So as a person, if I see somebody that every day our boyfriend is slapping her, I think it's okay. I think that because I'm exposed to that a lot, in my mind, I'm going to think that as a young girl, that's okay for my man to shout at me, for my man not to defend me outside, for him to talk to me anyhow. I think it's okay, right? But if you're exposing yourself to people who are actually having healthy relationships, and I even think that this even boils down to our families, our parents. Parents don't be telling you, they don't want you to see them crying. They don't want you to see them having conversations with their spouse. Do you get what I mean? Yeah. They just think that, oh, decisions are made when daddy nods his head. Or mommy needs to shout for daddy to hear. And then they think that that's the way to communicate.
What daddy says is final.
Exactly. Daddy is the one true source. Daddy knows everything. But increasingly, as we grow older, we are seeing that that's not the case, right? So also, I think mentorship is important, right? In everything. But yeah, relationship, but yeah, work. All mentors should also try to be honest. I feel like we lack honesty in our society. We're not true to ourselves. And so it trickles down to everything that we're doing, right? So boyfriend, girlfriend, this one, that one. This is what I think, right? So it's a societal problem, right? It's a pandemic right now, seriously. And I pray and I hope that young people are able to confide in people that they trust, and those people who they trust do not be willing to learn, and also do not take that trust for granted. Do you get what I mean? Yeah. So
also, Gen Z women should leave millennial men alone. Thank you.
That's what I wanted
to
say.
With your age, mate. Before they come out on Twitter and drag us that we are sexual reporters. Please.
But also,
no.
But this conversation. That conversation we're about to go
because
into.
The audacity of Gen Z women, you've not spoken about it.
There's that. The Gen Z babes. Okay, first of all, I'll start like this. Do millennial women hit on you as a Gen Z? As Gen Z men?
a Gen Z?
Yes, actually.
They do?
Yeah.
Why?
It's
Yeah, like and funny thing that they actually just straight to the point. Like they don't know the sugar code. They'll tell you straight up. It's now left to you, yes or no. They do have they do bounce. That's simple. No, they don't do go to go. They just tell you straight, bro. How far? Go do go do. It's not left to you to just make your decisions. No, I don't feel. I mean, I don't feel so. I don't feel it. I just feel like okay, as long as you are not going through like you're just being straightforward. So I mean, you're not forcing me. So it's not left to me to say yes or no. So the choice is actually mine. So regardless of whoever or however you say it or anything, the choice still boils down to me. So I don't take offense in that.
Do millennials hit on you?
how mine happens is yes. Not often.
Because they think you're
but
40
yes.
years old.
Do you understand? But then they find out the age and they're like, is that how it is? You know, like a lot of them would see me, have conversation with me. I have people come up to me like, I thought you were 26. I thought you were 28. I thought you were older than me. You know, it happens. You know, maybe not millennials, but even people older than me. But then,
a quick one. Do
yeah.
you find offensive when you are being asked your age by a lady? Like you meet a babe now and she's trying to figure out how old you are because you don't look your age, etc. Like
so for
that?
men, no, but I know where you're going to because women don't like it, right?
Yeah.
I've been told you it's gentlemanly to not ask a lady her age.
But why? Why can't you
me?
ask your age?
I don't think it's
don't
not.
have
Yeah,
a
we
problem.
tell you out
If that 17-year-old baby, you can make a shout out now.
If you are abroad, that women look like they're older than their age. And
Yeah, I think it's when they're
They will
insecure
not
about
see
their age, like if they're older than, or some of them have like that fear. You know, there's this thing where the closer you get to 30 or the closer you get to 40, the more insecure you are, and then they don't want
the
to
hot
know.
year, by the way.
Yes,
Can't wait to get.
every year actually.
I've already
is
passed
hot.
them. 40. Love it. So yeah, that's just mine. Sometimes it happens when they find out like the disparity in our lives and our ages, and
That must be
maybe
painful. Many talking stages.
So it's not painful, but I feel like you've said it now, and I'm now thinking, but no, it's not painful. It's just
It's just what it is.
Yeah, it's just what it is.
So do you have millennial men here tonight?
Of course.
How do you handle that?
Of course.
Millennial men don't have shame.
How do I handle it?
You collect for your mistakenly.
You should have asked her. They should have the millennial man she's sitting on first.
Do you?
Doesn't have.
Do you?
How do you know?
I'm sorry. So you do you have millennial men that you're hitting on?
See,
I think she does.
I've said this before.
And I'll say it again.
And I'll say it again because some people on this pod may not know it. I've passed my hitting on men era. And I want to be the one that like
That
hit on me.
Yes.
Because I've noticed that those men, because I'm an expressive woman, you know, that likes to take the bull by the horn. Especially when I know that you like me, but you're just because I usually end up with reserved men. They don't really talk much, mysterious and shit. I know they do again. You will not tell them finish that you like them. It will not be as if you're the one carrying the relationship. And I don't want that. So please come hit on me.
I love it.
Yes, I do have millennial men hitting on me. It's very nice, you know, because I'm not attracted to like
Your
younger men. I'm
Why
so
do you look at
sorry.
me?
No, my eye was moving around the room.
I can hit on her. I'm 40. What are you saying?
I don't think that. I mean, the only person maybe that I have dated, I would even say is my age, like a year difference, and we're even in school at time. But right now, it's
Puppy love.
22-year-old, 21. What are we doing now?
No, but
What
you're
are we talking
23, so
about?
typically you would want to go with.
It may not be
24,
typically for some
25.
people, right? I mean, it's just a me thing, right? It's just if you remember that I would say this, and I think that it is true, that women mature before men. And so a 23-year-old woman and a 23-year-old man,
Very different.
yeah, but in some cases you may have some men that are more mature, more open-minded, but in most cases the woman is always the more emotionally mature one, right? And so I've noticed that men that are older, I can sit down and have conversations with them. We have like very intelligent conversations. We play too and all of the other things, but it just feels like more of a match for me than younger people. But maybe when I now reach like 28 or 20 or
Now you come
30,
down again.
I may now be finding men that are 27 attractive. But right now, I can't be finding a 20-year-old attractive.
Okay, so just to deconstruct what you said a little bit, the reason for that is because society places a kind of chip on women's shoulders, both genders.
To mature earlier.
Yeah, because of marriage. Because you can be a 23-year-old guy or 25-year-old guy, and you're talking to a 25-year-old girl. She's ready for marriage, you're not.
But you're not.
Pastor K said people should marry at 24.
I'm not ready.
Men should marry at 24.
He was talking to his congregation.
No, he was talking to men.
No,
Men should marry at
now.
24.
I know they go to that church now.
But no, I don't go to that church. So I don't.
So, you know, but for men, like society, you know, our chip is somebody recently said something about like a provider mindset.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't see men typically in that age group you've talked about having a provider mindset. You know, we are getting to an age, first of all, we are working hard to build our life, and then we are not thinking of, so we may have, especially if you are like the first male child, or for me, we're just two male children. So it's hot. We're like twins. It's hot. You know, so I'm at the stage where I want to take care of myself and like find solid footing, get my place, do this, be solid. So you won't come to me and say, "Hi, I'm pregnant for you."
Use a condom, kids.
Bruh.
Use a condom. Or the man should get those
vasectomy.
family. No. There's also family planning for men. Don't cut it, I beg.
So what you have is millennial men right now, because of the age conundrum, basically, have the provider mindset, and then the women in the Gen Z age already have their own emotional maturity down. So that's why the match is like kind of equal. But for us,
but we also don't want men that are just financially whatever.
Yeah.
I'm very attracted to men who are emotionally matured because it's not just money. Money is I like money here, but money is more of a secondary thing for me. Right? I want a man that I can talk to. I want a man that can listen to me.
Okay.
I want a man that can actively contribute to my conversations. Not yes, okay. I want a man that would see me when I'm speaking. So it's a lot of emotional thing, and not so many men know how to do that. It's all about dropping. It's not just about dropping money and providing.
Listen to True Confessions.
Sorry,
guys.
Nana, correct me if I'm wrong, but what she just talked about, for me, the trend.
What you talk about?
Okay, I'll reiterate what she said. She wants emotional maturity in a man preceding financial security. And that means someone who can have conversations with her and listen to her and be more in tune with the relationship. But for me, I find that the trend is the opposite. For our age bracket, the opposite is the case. You often find ladies you can't have conversations with or fully, they don't have as much as an identity as they would like.
Also that.
Yeah,
you know, it could just be, I go to church and I go to work. That's it.
Hey,
I mean, most cases, the ladies of these days, they put the financial aspects first before anything.
Facts.
So nobody cares about if you can have conversations.
That's why women are women.
Bro, can you provide? Can you buy me this? Can you buy me this week? Can you buy me this?
That's not the way to win my
No,
own
like
heart.
that's the thing. You are saying based off
What have your money,
preference.
Sha? Because me if I did work
Fine.
for my own,
money
but
is
that
involved
comes
and
before
everything,
that.
but
You
there's some people that just make money like the genesis of everything, genesis and evolution. Everything shall ball in money. If you like, eat me. If you like, punch me. I don't care. As long as one slap, one ticket.
I have a
I'm
friend.
okay
I know
with that.
somebody who would not want to talk to a man every day. She doesn't want you to be telling her. She doesn't want you to be telling her, "Oh, you look so gorgeous." You look like, okay,
As they talk, just they
send me
drop money.
Like,
there are reels for this.
And that thing
problem.
comes with a lot of entitlement. Like, oh, I'm entitled to this.
Yeah.
The one I hate the most is you should pay me for looking beautiful. I don't understand. Or I'm looking pretty. Or Nama they do man because Nama go send 100K. Say go and buy airtime. So I don't blame them. Nama they do man now. Like they do have. You will send you 100K. Say go and buy airtime.
Because them
so obviously now you're expecting me to tell you, hey, you look stressed. Take 200,000.
You guys,
in some cultures in Nigeria, from your part of the world,
okay,
you guys send your women to fattening rooms before they get married culturally.
What's that? I've never heard of that.
Okay, so they send, I hear either Akwa Ibom or Cross River, they send their women to fattening rooms to like you get like you prepare yourself for your marriage. Do you get what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
They make you, they feed you.
Yeah.
They give you stuff, herbs and stuff. And from my part of the world, in our culture, a man, when his wife is even coming out doing traditional wedding, as they come out, they draw back based on the beauty of the woman.
What I'm saying is actually different.
What
I'm saying is different.
Can I ask question?
That's culture. That's culture.
Yeah, but some people like sort of piggyback of.
No, they see this P. That's why I thought in a man they do man.
Please, I'll ask one question. The people that are doing the people that created Fat New Room was a 1 liter 617 naira. Then
God,
I just want to know.
I have started.
Life soft dead though.
Yes.
Life don't talk now.
We have started. Okay. But like, I don't know if we have sort of exhausted this conversation. What do you guys think?
I think we should move to the next.
Yeah, I think
we've tried.
To the last
Is there anyone again?
Yes.
Japa,
Lolo.
We already almost reached 3 hours.
We're almost done.
Just talk based on it.
Yeah. What do you guys think about Japa?
Like the concept of leaving the country.
Yes.
Okay. Just making sure.
Hey, now why you on your English?
First of all, I'd like to announce that if you want to have like a full overview of what I think about Japa, you should go to Ndani TV and listen to or watch my episode with Bisola where we talked about
Send
Some
another
PR team.
yeah, real talk with Ndani where we discussed Japa or not. Yeah, but and my what I think about Japa hasn't changed so much since the time that we recorded that episode. I think that I've never really been the person that would say that I want to go and be living in somebody's house or somebody's country. I've always really liked Lagos. Well, I've never really experienced living in another state, except maybe in Lorraine when I was schooling. But I've always just been a Nigerian babe. I just want to be in Lagos. I believe that if you have bastard money, you will enjoy life in Nigeria. You will just have things will just be smooth for you. But I do also think that the concept of Japa is based on, the realities of Nigerians living in Nigeria. It's very hard and it's very harsh. And a lot of people also think that things are better when you move, which I don't think is true. I think that, yes, there are a lot of things, basic amenities that are available for you, right? So it feels like you're receiving more value for your money. But I also think that things are as hard. I'm also not against the idea of maybe traveling to further your studies or to just experience a different culture, a different world, whatever. I think that is very important for you to be able to broaden your mind. And that's why people say travel. In fact, if you watch all those videos with strangers that they do on the internet these days, when they ask older people, what would you think that you would have wanted to do when you were younger? Say travel more, but money no day. But if you get chance to travel more, travel out, live there, experience life, because it helps you in different ways. It opens your mind in ways that wouldn't be possible if you're just like stuck in one point. But I also think that Japa has also done harm, taking away friends, families. It has done a lot of harm for us. Yes. I can't even lie. There's so many people that I know that have relocated and families have been split up because of Japan. It's because we don't have a country that works. But at the end of the day, do what you have to do to survive.
Love it.
For me, I think it's set on where the opportunities lie. So, and you see a similar trend with something like doctors or engineers or, you establish yourself a little bit. The soonest you can leave and go and find better opportunities for yourself to scale higher, the better for you. So I have a one-track mind to kind of chase that first before anything else. I have friends who are out the country. I have friends who have been split from because they're now out the country. Some of them, our friendship took a toll, some of them not. And then they've told me their stories like, oh, look, this is how it is. Oh, don't let anybody deceive you. Sometimes rent can be like $4,000 and, just a bunch of problems. Ask them to come back.
They will not.
It's like if you know what you want to go and do, if you know that this is where the opportunities are, great. I have friends who are software engineers that are making, like you said, quote unquote, bastard money. They're living on the island. They're good. They're fine. That works for them. I have people who say they don't want to leave the country because, let's be honest, our country doesn't work, but not a lot of other countries work as well. Still, America's healthcare is
shitty.
It will deck you in the face.
Even UK, to be honest.
Yeah. So for me, it's just pursuing opportunities, but like taking stock of what is important. You know, how will this affect me and my family? Can I take them over? Just, you know, when you weigh the pros and cons, you make your decision from there. But for me, I'm more predisposed to leaving, but also predisposed to coming back.
I think that's why it's also important that you have a plan, right? When you're leaving the country, don't just leave based on vibes or people are leaving.
Yeah, everybody's going.
You get there and just figure it out. No, dear. You have to sort of have a plan, even if you don't have it all mapped out. But do your research so that you're not just left to be fighting for your life in the water, because nobody is really going to help you. They say that UK people are stingy, or people who live abroad are stingy.
They
but
say
it's not
hard to
like
find
that.
love too.
But
everybody's minding their business.
Like the tax that they are paying alone is enough for somebody to say that, you know what, I can't be borrowing you money. Like Jonathan,
taxes,
the hours that they spend, and you can't be acting entitled to their money. It's a lot of stress.
They pay
monthly bills.
Like
it's so much.
And you are paying per year, and you are making.
Some of the things we have in Nigeria is lax. Like the corruption is helping us.
You're actually enjoying. Like if you can't think of it. If you did, like no, like in terms of what she's saying, like all these tax fees, like monthly rents or whatnot, bro, you are paying your rent per year, and the money where they pay per year, and waiting person they pay per month.
But you're also not earning well enough to be paying yearly things comfortably. So it's also
the money someone earns there, and they remove tax, they remove this. Money goes still fall now.
No,
money goes still.
You know, the funny thing about Nigeria is that Nigeria has been so mismanaged and run that we've been shielded away from the realities of how a modern country works. And now that we are beginning to strip that how will I call it, that fabric away, we are beginning to see it. And that is why when the government says, we are removing subsidy, right? That's the reality of life. There are more refineries in Texas than there are more refineries in Nigeria. But America pays more money for fuel, which is just the reality of life. Nigeria is not just working the way it should work. And that is why, and also because we are so economically disenfranchised as people. Nigerians are getting poorer every day. Nigeria is the poverty capital of the world. Bro. At some point in your career, you feel that I've done so much, but I have so little. Every day I have to worry about whether there's lights, security. Then you have kids, and you now ask yourself. Most people actually travel for their children. And look, my children can't pass through this because they need to see the way the world is. So people now, what they do? They kill their potential of what they can earn in Nigeria, who they can be in Nigeria, and that just become anonymous data in America or in the UK. Anywhere in the world, so that your children can now have a launching pad for greatness at the end of the day. Because if you are earning, and there are people like that, if you are earning 3 million, 4 million naira, 5 million in Nigeria, then you really don't need any. I don't really think you.
There are people like that.
Yeah.
Like per month.
Yeah, per month.
Like you're earning.
Some people earn in dollars in this country. Yeah. I hear them say out to Japa because they look at their kids and they know that it's not possible. Or today something is this price. The next 2 days, 50% inflation. It's not meant to happen in a normal country.
Wow.
You cannot be driving your car and a policeman just kills you and there's no justice. We know that happens in America, but there's a follow-up. There's an announce cry. In Nigeria, everything just, as it is now.
Nobody saw
Imagine you now as a parent, you spend so much money raising your child and you get a call that your child died in an elevator. The doctor that you
raised. Being a doctor is never 5 naira saved.
Bro, medicine is not the easiest thing to do. So people, and it is out of frustration. And when you are frustrated, you make emotional decisions and you're like, fuck it at the end of the day. Almost a lot of people who are abroad actually want to be in Nigeria.
Yes, they do.
Actually want to be back home because at the end of the day, there's something about your blood. Take out on blood. You always want to be, and that is why
they get so excited when they meet Nigerians over.
And that is why the diaspora, and that is why the diaspora, and that's why the diaspora is so very important to Nigerian music because they are bringing back a connection, something they don't have over there. If you spend 4 years in England, bro, once you hear a Nigerian song, you feel more, something just calls on to you that.
Or you see yam in the supermarket.
Yeah. At the end of the day, there are women who were who were women of society in Nigeria here.
Yeah.
They're cleaning toilets in the UK.
Yeah.
They had to diminish themselves so that their children could have a future. At the end of the day, and that's what Japa does to you. Japa is the new slave trade. But the only difference is now is that we are entering the boat.
But
They are not kidnapping us.
To Japa, like,
No,
would you like to
the
Java?
question is for you.
No, for me.
Anybody who listens to 2, 3, 4.
For me,
I think.
I have to look at the way my career options is, like career options are.
That's it.
So people are flexible. They say I can do anything, but me, I know where I can work best. I can't work in the 9 to 5 strictly corporate setting. That doesn't work for me. And if I say I want to get venture into Nollywood in America, that's just starting from ground zero, and that'll take you like a 20-year gap. And you even getting to the place where you feel comfortable is a 1 in a million shot.
Yeah.
In Nigeria, bro, I'm 2 moves away from being number 1 or number 3.
Okay.
Any script? No, I'm not. No, that's where any script writer.
Okay,
That's where any script writer should feel, because the industry is smaller.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you are going to get accolades. You are going to get the money you are looking for. Yeah. There are people here in Nigeria richer than people there in America. I know my former boss. Whenever I go to England, the hotel he stays, he calls his friends and he tells them, "Don't want to eat. The food is on me," and they're surprised because then they don't feel a ball. They don't feel a ball like that. And I always ask you that: is this how you figured it out in Nigeria? Some people have cracked the code in Nigeria. It now determines how far you are willing to kill your conscience to get to that elite level. And many of us are not ready to kill our conscience to get to that level. So people started off as we're anti-government, the nation must be good. But when you get to that level where you are seeing comfort and wealth, anything government do, just close your eye and just yeah. So that's my thoughts on Japa. Like, it's the way the country has been designed, and people have to live. And because the last 8 years it has been the worst economy. During the Obasanjo periods, we're even having Nigerians coming back home to set up businesses. Yeah. Once Baddie came in again, everything started crashing and people had to leave. Okay. Hopefully, as the Christians say, this administration or dispensation will favor me and my family. Thank you very much.
You guys, I'm so happy about this conversation. I hope that whoever is listening to this kind of has gotten like a sense of how our young people are thinking here in Nigeria. They are not daft, they're not stupid, they're actual people. If you're not engaged, then leave them alone, as I've said before. I hope that from this conversation you're able to sort of have an idea into how they see the world that they are currently existing in, and you're kinder to the way that you approach them. I think that for me, that's what this episode was about, because every time I think about young people, I'm not, if you've listened to it for long enough, you know that I've always said that I don't like young people. Not because I think they are bad people, but they give me they give me hypertension. Like, they make me very tense. But I'm also understanding that I have a lot of young people around me and I can't hate them honestly. I have to just interact somewhat. And I hope that this sort of opens your heart or mind to that level of interaction. I hope that our speakers here today had been able to also like shed some light on the challenges they face as individuals. You can see how smart these guys are. We have so much potential in Nigeria. I think that on a different day, we'll talk about racism, institutional racism, because I was having that conversation recently with a couple people, since we've talked about Japa and children. But nonetheless, we love you guys. Follow us on every social media platform, as you always do, at 234 Essential Podcasts. Subscribe to our newsletter. I do want to see,
yeah. So follow us on all social media platforms, and
okay.
Yeah, and we're done. Yeah, we wrapped it up.
Please leave us reviews on this episode, please, and please. We really want to hear your
reviews
feedback.
on Spotify, Apple Music,
exactly.
Apple Podcasts.
Especially if you're a Gen Z person who wants to like just speak to like the people who have spoken, or just put something out there that exactly. You know. Do you guys want to say anything? Was it a good time on 234?
Yeah, it was a good time.
Love it.
Fun.
Thank you so much, guys.
Please, we're very hungry. Send us money.
Employ us.
There's also that.
We need funds.
Thank you to all our guests. Thank you, Uyime. Thank you, Curiosity. Thank you, Nana, for putting your voice on this. Stay kind, guys.